Oh, hello, and welcome to Aldente Rigamortis. I'm Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey, the East End Trio.
And I'm the Gamer in Yellow.
And we're here to discuss those internet stories, most creepy and most pasta, and be critically silly doing it. And tonight we have a continuation of The Visitor from Curtisville. Chapters 7, 8, and 9. So yeah, we are continuing our campaign to read The Visitor from Curtisville.
It is a campaign at this point, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a full month of episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So. And yeah, we are covering 7, 8, and 9. The Visitor from Curtisville, along with all the other Curtisville stories and what have you, are by Pratt99. You can check it out at creepypasta.wiki.
I'm surprised we haven't said that, like, the Visitor from Curtisville is going to be staying with us for this month.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah, the Visitor's here.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're not doing an initial recommendation just yet. So I guess I will just dive into the rundown. So Chapter 7 sees Lolly traveling through the main streets of Hogan's Gap with a special trinket in hand, a silver spherical key that will help her travel through to Fairy and unlock her destiny. All the while getting obliviously dog-napped, leaking more of that putrid black fluid, and being followed by strange dark figures. But that's fine. She's got her spirit guide, Ruby Rose, the twin-tailed wolf, to guide her on, all the way to the covered bridge that locals believe to be cursed by an Ashi, a guardian that lets only the pure of heart through to Fairy and torments and kills those who have a guilty conscience. We get this information from an old Lamia lady who explains it to two British tourists. In Chapter 8, we veer to a new scene and new characters. Yay!
Did you mention that, like, Lolly was, like, walking down the street, like, summoning a bunch of shadow creatures behind her?
She was being stalked by, like, a bunch of shadowy figures, yeah.
I don't know if they were being stalked. It seemed like they were being summoned by her.
But they were following her nonetheless. So I did mention it.
I think the implication is that, like, they're souls that she's taken or something at that point.
Okay, actual talk. I actually kind of actual thought here. I actually kind of thought that, like, they were just being attracted to her, like her corruption or whatever she was, like whatever she had been, like, tinkering with.
Oh, I don't know, because one of them was that rock star dude. I doubt he was just hanging out there at the time.
Okay, again, actual thought.
We're never going to get through the rundown.
Yeah, interrupting my rundown. I saw that guy show up, and I was like, "Oh shit! Is he, like, trying to, like, take her? Like, basically, like, is he like trying to continue their argument from earlier?"
Oh, maybe. Who knows?
Like, is that why he's following her into Fairy?
Perhaps.
Yes. But anyway, in Chapter 8, we veer to a new scene and new characters in Terrapin Junction, the Zelmac district of Hogan's Gap, where in the house of Grandma Esme, her two granddaughters are dabbling in a spell book and a magic mirror that one of them has finally gotten to work. But the mirror's reflecting scenes, other realities perhaps, freak out the younger granddaughter, Kiki, and despite her sister Tulagak's dismissive attitude about the dangers, Kiki plots to destroy the mirror and the spellbook by feeding it to the creatures squirming in the kitchen's food scrap bin. Back at Moon Agate Beach, Kess is obliviously saved by Megara from some dark little figure that was creeping on her. This is followed by Ellery continuing on her tale about speaking with a dead girl. Ellery had been wondering about the events at her school at night when she happened into a dream where she met a friend from school named Lyra Bisbee in an endless field of wheat by an oak tree. Lyra warns Ellery that Lolly is using dark magic to infiltrate her home and planting a cursed Ouija board. Ellery must find and remove the Ouija board in one of 3 specific ways, and mustn't touch the Ouija board with her bare hands, or else she will attract the attention of a malevolent being known as the Rose Prince. Then a Shinigami shows up, and Lyra is taken away by a swarm of blackbirds, leaving Ellery to wake up. However, she wakes up with the clothes and shoes she had on in the dream. She then gets spooked by supposedly Lolly's shade fleeing her home, and stays up all night freaking out with the knowledge that Lolly is doing all this because she's jealous of Ellery's art talent. Chapter 9 opens with Lolly, who has made it into Fairy, but it's not what she imagined. It's much more like a fantasy slum than the glitz and glamour she romanticized about. She's also lost track of Ruby Rose, and as she sits on a stoop and pouts, wringing out her socks and shoes from the black sludge that she seems to be secreting, though she is also unaware of that, she sees dark figures and even a tall, lanky gray man of sorts staring at her from across the street. These figures flicker away, however, as she still has the silver spheroid key, which seems to protect her. And eventually, she gets up and continues her search for Ruby Rose. Back at Grandma Esme's house, Tulagak had snuck out behind Kiki when Kiki went downstairs to destroy the book and mirror, and through her own stealthy machinations, sneaks back downstairs to the kitchen when everyone is asleep, and rescues the book and mirror from the Omniverm's hunger, and begins sifting through the pages, looking for a good spell to cast, for some reason. And finally, back at Moon Agate Beach, or rather in the mists above it, the dark thing that was creeping on Kess earlier is revealed to be the Rose Prince himself, who is obsessed with Gerdine girls and wants companionship, but denied by Kess's Gorgon protector, curses and slinks back to the realm of Fairy, for now. Finn, until chapter 10 and beyond. So a lot happened in the last 3 chapters, but I suppose we should move on to everyone tolerates the Grand Inquisitions at this point. And I'm going to start with chapter 7, starting with this one here. I'm not sure if this is this might be just a typo issue more than anything, but so chapter 7, we open up with with this kind of quote here. On Lolly's last visit to Hogan's Gap, they wouldn't let her take any of the golden sun apples from the sacred orchard, nor any of the whistling stones or butterfly fish, yada, yada, yada. Okay. Is it Hogan's Bay or Hogan's Gap? Also, while I'm on this subject, because I had to revisit the Gray Man story because of relevant information that comes on later and probably in my actual thoughts, is Hogarth's Gap a different place, or is that also Hogan's Gap or Hogan's Bay? Like, which one is it? Is it just like the same place but 3 different names, or is it just a typo?
It might be it's Hogan's Bay and Hogarth's Gap.
But it seems, it seems in this story specifically, like in between chapters, Hogan's Bay and Hogan's Gap kind of swap interchangeably. Or is this just because we are kind of dealing with cross-dimensional thresholds? Is this are there different layers of reality where Hogan's Gap is actually Hogan's Bay in different timelines, and Hogarth's Gap in another timeline?
If it was a narrator saying it, but it's not most of the time, so no.
Yeah, unless as you pass through the different to the different timelines, you're slidersing through kind of sliding in between timelines. Your memory gets retconned by reality, so you wouldn't know that you were calling it a different name. But that's not actually mentioned. So, but it would be a cool thing because again, we are dealing with basically a border town between the mortal world and the lands of Fairy. So, but I think it honestly is just a typo. But I would like.
Which way do you think it is?
I think it's Hogan's Gap, but
Yeah, because like I'm seeing like in chapter 8, for example, it says like Terrapin Junction, Zelmac district of Hogan's Gap. Like it's not someone saying it; it is describing where this is taking place.
But did we have that when they were traveling? Yeah, because like, is it Hogan's? Maybe it's like Hogan's Bay and Hogan's Gap are the same town, but like they're different like sections of town. Like,
or it's just this: like Hogan's Gap is the town, and Hogan's Bay is a bay that is in Hogan's Gap.
Yeah, like Hogan's Bay is the harbor aspect of Hogan's Gap.
Yeah, that's probably what it actually is.
Yeah, it was a little confusing, but like it wasn't totally enough. It was just like, I mean, this is also a Curtisville story, so like weird shit happens all the time, and it's just treated as mundane. So, but yeah, I'll move on to the next thing I have, which is an actual grammar issue. Those that passed her paused in her tracks and looked back with puzzled frowns. So I think that's supposed to be in their tracks. Like they wouldn't pause in her tracks necessarily, although they might because like they don't want to step in that black sludge that she's kind of carrying in her wake. But
I do think it should be in there, though.
Yeah, I think grammatically it should be. They paused in their tracks. Then the next thing I have. Together they would roam through shadowy forests and flowering meadows, and she would be mounted on a snowy unicorn with silvery gray falcon resting on her delicate gloved hand. Okay, so I know that to be mounted can mean to ride a mount, but maybe like change that up to avoid phrasing.
Oh, you saw it that way.
Yeah, and I was like, what? I know that's not the way, but holy shit.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the word for it, though.
It is right, but like, maybe I'm just being pedantic and also like gutter minded, but like, yeah,
I think that's a you problem, cultist.
All right, fair enough. I'll remember this, Mikey.
It could be changed to saddled up.
Yeah,
saddled
or
up
like
on a horse.
But that's not what we're trying to say.
No, and she would be like,
well, she's on top of the horse.
My alternative would be like, and she would be riding on a snowy unicorn. Like, to my problem is mounted, and I know it's a correct word, but like to avoid silly shenanigans, maybe change that word.
I suppose.
But that might just be me in the nitpick note. I will digress. Man, when did the nitpick note get to like sit right next to the gutter? Weird.
I think it's been there for a while.
Probably. Yeah.
We just haven't acknowledged that.
Yep. So the next thing I have here is I don't think it's them that's reading. An elderly Lamia woman interjected. No, I think it's a trio of Canadian podcasters that's reading. I think it's supposed to be, for seriousness, I think it's supposed to mean I don't think it's them that's reeking.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
And then the next thing I have here. No one really knows what it's like to be a bad man. No, sorry.
Wow.
Fuck.
You are a bard. I understand.
Yeah. I am the cultist bard.
Mm-hmm.
No one really knows for sure what happens to them exactly, but time and time again, traces of them turn up from time to time. So I know it's dialogue, but this seemed a little repetitive, more than usual.
Yep.
So I fixed it like this. No one really knows what happens to them exactly, but traces of them turn up from time to time. And maybe even just a variation of like removing the repetitive word or like one of the repetitive lines and like just using one or the other. Not.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I corrected mine the same. Okay. And honestly, in my grammar note on this. I brought up the previous sentence too, so I'll just do that while I'm here. The old Lamia shrugged and raised her scaly eyebrows. I have no idea, seeing as I'm not a terrible person. I haven't a clue of what these adsere. I don't know how you say it. What?
It's pronounced Ashi. I'll get into that.
Oh, is it? Okay. What these Ashi look like? For they could only be seen by damned and darkest souls. But according to local legends, such people never make it to the other side. They just seem to vanish into thin air. Blah 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 blah. So I don't need to read the rest of that. But basically, like, it's weird that she's basically saying, "I have no idea," and then goes through this stuff, and then she goes into the line you brought up, where she says, "No one really knows." So it's like, I have no idea, and then no one really knows, even though it's like saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Where it could just start by saying, like, I don't know, seeing as I'm not a terrible person, and then just drop the second no one really knows, because she's already said that no one knows.
Yeah, true. And just like, but traces of them turn up from time to time. Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
Yep. And then my last thing for chapter 7 is, even when on such rare occasions when the DNA can be identified, the sinner's loved ones, if they have any, are located, the remains aren't even secured a churchyard burial or placed or place on a mantelpiece. Rather, they are buried on a special bonfire. So a little run on. That's strike 1. Strike 2. Or placed on a mantelpiece. That's strike 2.
Why?
Because it's their remains aren't even secured a churchyard burial or placed on a mantelpiece. Because right now it's or place on a mantelpiece. Oh, I guess place as in like a spot on a mantelpiece. I suppose that's where that's actually saying, not like the action of being placed somewhere. But my actual thing for this, like my big one for this one, is how are you buried on a special bonfire? I mean, is that what makes it special? So honestly, I think it's supposed to be burned, not buried.
Well, if you're burying it on a bonfire, or in a bonfire, that's basically saying you're just throwing it in a bonfire.
Yeah, in a bonfire.
Yes, for sure. Yeah,
in a bonfire, or you could either go that route or have it be that, like, rather they are burned on a special bonfire. Mm-hmm. Because like that's usually the action associated with a bonfire is things get burned, not buried.
Yes.
But that is all I have for chapter 7. Mikey, do you have anything for chapter 7 before you get into your overall conjunction junction?
Nope, you got it.
Okay. Gamer.
I got one that you missed. Unless I'm just in the nitpick nook with you, but we shall see. Those that have passed her, pause in her track. Oh, wow, it's part of this part. It's the line after what you said before. Those that passed her, pause in her tracks and looked back with puzzled frowns. One or two of them even jerked their shoulders as though shrinking from something disgusting. So my question to you is, like, is shrinking the right word to describe their body language? I don't know what word would be right, but shrinking seems weird. One or two even jerked their shoulders as though shrinking from something disgusting.
Yeah, I have heard shrinking like in that action, but I would think also maybe even shirking.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
It could go either way for me though, honestly. Because I have heard, like, because you're shrinking away, like not physically shrinking away, but you're like kind of trying to make yourself smaller and like get away from something that disgusts you.
As though cowering from something disgusting, maybe?
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same sort of motion. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. That's all I got left for 7.
Okay. On to chapter 8 then. Obviously, she didn't see the pest in the question stalking from behind. So obviously it should probably have the should be removed. So it just reads, obviously she didn't see the pest in question stalking from behind.
Yes.
And then the next one. Ellery dipped her drink slowly while the audience around her waited impatiently. Dipped? I think that's meant to be Ellery sipped her drink slowly.
Probably.
Unless she's like dipping it down, like getting ready to talk again, but she's like waiting. Maybe.
Yeah, that's what I first thought that it might be, but it's probably meant to be sipped.
Yeah.
Especially when S and D are right beside each other on the keyboard.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. And then the next thing I have here. Once you die, the Rose Prince would drag you down to whatever hell he came from, and the cycle starts all over again. So I think that with this, it should be. This is a tense talk. Welcome to it. Once you die, the Rose Prince will drag you down.
What is it normally?
Would drag you down. So like,
I suppose, yeah.
Yeah, the original one is the Rose Prince would drag you down, but I think it should be that will drag you.
Unless through the story, the Rose Prince is destroyed, so he can't do it anymore.
True. Yeah, I guess it is sort of like, it's more of like a not subjectively, but like it's like this is the worst case scenario. Like it would normally, if it doesn't get stopped, it would normally do this.
Yes.
But then the same can be said for like, well, like in that same circumstance, like if it does manage to succeed, it will drag you down. So like it's a little bit more like threatening even too. So as it will do this if you don't stop it.
Yes.
And then the next thing I have is make sure you weigh it something heavy like rocks or bricks. All right, caveman speech here. Make sure you weigh it something heavy.
A little bit, yeah.
I think it should be make sure you weigh it down with something heavy. And that's all I've got for chapter 8. So, Mikey.
All right. 8. Holding them at arm's length as they were something dead and rotten, she padded down the hall and stairs. So it should be as if.
Yes.
So holding them at arm's length as if they were something dead and rotten, she padded down the hall of stairs.
Yep.
And that's all I have for chapter 8.
All right. Gamer.
I got one, but it's a twofer.
2 for the price of 1.
Yeah, 2 for the price of 1 here. It was 10 to 10, and Grandma Esme was feeding her cats, is the line. So firstly, maybe 10 to 10, like 10 O'10 is the way they refer to time in like Feylands or otherwise, but I haven't heard that before. Otherwise, I think 10 to 10 would be correct.
Yeah. It could be like a regional like a regional like thing, but
yeah, that's why
like, in like real in our world. But yeah, like that is kind of strange. Yes,
but I'm willing to give that a pass. The second part confused me even more, though. I don't know why there's an apostrophe after Grandma Esme's name in every single instance of it.
And in fact, there's a double apostrophe at the end of one when it's a possessive, like Mama or Grandma Esme's. Blah blah blah, and it has like her normal apostrophe, but then it has a second possessive apostrophe.
Yeah, I don't get that at all. Maybe it's meant to be like the E with the with the line going up, like the accented E.
Maybe.
But maybe like they couldn't find the alt code to do it. I don't know.
Yeah, I also just kind of like assume that maybe like for some reason like Grandma Esme, like her name is longer and like that's just like an abbreviation or like a nickname kind of thing. But it is very odd to me.
Yes.
Like it might maybe there's supposed to be some kind of an accent there at the end. Like maybe it is supposed to be Esme and then like that like the E at the end is supposed to have like the not the umlaut, but the French dash that's above like an E to like make it an A sound rather than an E
so
sound.
The exact same thing that I said like 30 seconds ago. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Future me, edit me out. Yes, you're so smart, gamer.
Right?
You're so good at grammar.
I don't know about that. But What?
Am I laying it on a little too thick?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah,
You
no,
don't need to lie to my face, or to my ear, technically. But no, that's all I got left for 8.
All right. Then I suppose we'll move on to chapter 9. I only have one for this one. What language she did recognized seemed to be in French and English. So you just need to remove the D after or at the end of recognized. So it's what language she did recognize seemed to be in French and English.
Or remove the did and say what language she recognized seemed to be.
Yep, that would also help. That would also fix it. And that's all I've got for chapter 9. Mikey, D stands for evil.
Well, I guess it's time for my conjunction junction.
Yeah, I guess it is.
And next stop, Conjunction Junction. Doot, doot.
Chapter 7. The Sin Eaters. But then, when her parents unexpectedly got called away on a family emergency, leaving the twins Thomas and Sylvie in charge, a plan began to take root in her mind. And she did succeed thanks to her rigorous stealth ninja training. But why would she want to remain in the mortal world with its countless narrow-minded, mundane rules? And if you stay here long enough, you could even become a citizen of the fairy. It must be that oily black stuff spilled on her dress. But she was going to fix all that. It was a key, only it didn't look like a key. It was silver, this sphere, small enough to conceal it. Small enough to be concealed in a tightly closed fist, and its entire surface was inscribed with delicate characters that looked like elvish writing. It was beautiful. It was intriguing. And she had a feeling that there was a lock nearby that would fit this shiny little key. It was her. It emitted a very similar smell. This odor of death and preservatives that seemed to cling to everything. Very sickening it was. But the corrupt of our society, the ones who manage to evade mortal justice on this side of the river, if they even set one foot on that bridge, something horrible will happen to them. But according to local legends, such people never make it to the other side. But the Lamia had recognized the tallest and palest one among them from his pictures in the magazines. It was, of course, Yukiko O'Brien of Moog Vagrant. Chapter 8. A Series of Strange Occurrences. 1 Terrapin Junction, Zelmac District of Hogan's Gap. It was 10:10, and Grandma Esme was feeding her cats. It was always pandemonium at mealtime. It was quite a scene. But I stuck to it. I didn't give up. It's an image that's distorted so that it can only be viewed from a certain angle, or, in this case, by a chimney-shaped mirror. So the pictures take form inside the mirror and come to life. It translates the cipher writing into our language. It's gray, this desert's yellow. It's disgusting. And their teeth. And their gums. So they probably had gingivitis. It was empty, except for a pile of dirt and wriggling mass of slimy blue omniverms. 2. Moon Agate Beach, 10:13 p.m. It was bloody huge, whatever it was. So, what facts did I have? And I was the only investigator. 3. Beyond the Void. It was smack dab in the middle of nowhere, in an endless ocean of wheat. It could also be that she had developed early, and her family was very wealthy, the result of having constructed much of the architecture around the Murrelet area. It's good to see you. It's good to see you too. Just wish it was under different circumstances. Or Hades. But that's impossible. It's a pretty small house, not a lot of hiding places, and anyway, my parents would have spotted her. It's her spirit I'm talking about. But what is she doing in my house? It looked like a guy in a top hat wearing a dark business suit. But you got to find the Ouija board and get rid of it. It was built in fairy, used by actual wizards in their ritual. So, what's it doing over here then? And why is Lolly hiding that thing in my house? But that's not important right now. But not his son, the Rose Prince. But he's the youngest and most dangerous of the bunch. It's a pretty popular urban legend. But what if someone else finds it before me? It was all going to be like those stupid Nightmare on Elm Street movies, except instead of Freddy Krueger, I'm going to be worrying about being whacked by that weeb Lolly McLaren. And what the hell was up with the freaking temperature? It was cold and slimy like a dead fish. It reeked of rotten garbage, of death, and wasting disease. Chapter 9. Seeing is Deceiving. 1. The space in between, 10:22 p.m. 2. Terrapin Junction, Zelmac District of Hogan's Gap, 10:24 p.m. And I don't have to go through the trouble of sneaking the stuff out of the bedroom. 3. Overhead Moon Agate Beach, 10:27 p.m. So now he contented himself with just watching and waiting for his chance. Finn.
Wow. I'm not gonna lie, I got lost a little bit at the end, but
There's a lot of dialogue that you went through on your story, where you grab all of the sentences that start with words that they probably shouldn't, like its, ends, or buts, because there's usually better words to use except when it's dialogue, like most of the story.
Also, I do like that. Like for most of the story, it did kind of almost sound like it was just the same person, like walking through like Hogan's Gap, and then like going across that like through that bridge, and then ending up in Ferry, and then apparently ending up at Grandma's house and playing around with a spell book and mirror, and then suddenly like being on the beach again, and then back in Grandma's house.
Honestly, it would like kind of be better if that was the case. It wouldn't jump around so much if you could actually follow a character through everything.
Yeah, like I've got this in my actual thoughts. I think with especially with the whole Grandma Esme stuff.
Mm-hmm. One part I liked in the story was when Lolly was like, "So this key, it has a lock around here somewhere. It was her. So like she is the lock. So she's gonna like eat the key, and then like that's gonna like rip her body inside out and like transport her over to the like the world that she wants to be in or something."
It would be funny if if it was revealed that like Lolly like thought that she was an elven princess. No, she's actually the daughter of Yog-Sothoth, the eldritch horror that is both the gate and the key.
Ooh.
She is the gate and the key as well. But like she thought she was just like, oh, Susundere, like Japanese elf princess. No, you're actually just this horrible bubbling tentacled mass. Or you're the product of one. And that's why you're producing all that black sludge. And yeah,
that makes a lot of sense, actually. Oddly enough,
I mean, there are animes where like those characters are also like anime girls as well. Like there's it's like basically I can't remember the name of it, but essentially it's like Nyarlathotep transforms into an anime girl, and the like he who should not be named is an anime girl, and Cthulhu's an anime girl. Like, it's a whole show about a guy who's like and like this guy who's like down on his luck, like finds like has all these eldritch horrors that are like anime girls around him, and it's revealed that like eldritch horrors and like the Lovecraft mythos monsters, they watch Earth like a reality show.
Nice.
I can't remember what it's called. Yeah, it's also that. Yeah, but future me, add in the title of that anime now. Nyarko-san, another crawling chaos. Thank you.
Amazing. That also reminds me of what was that game called? Like Sucker for Love or something, where it's like a dating sim with all these like Cthulhu creatures that are just like anime girls or something. Is that what it was called?
I found out what it was called, what the anime is called. Never mind, future me. Fuck you.
Wow.
Really, past me? You really want to deal with this? Do you know what I could do to your Niaruko, the crawling with love. That's the
Marvel series. Not the anime which you asked for.
And the synopsis, it was originally like a light novel, but if essentially it's Nyarku, the formless Lovecraftian deity of chaos, the Nyarlathotep, who can take the shape of a seemingly cute silver-haired girl, and basically goes to high school.
Nice.
It is anime.
I mean, as far as anime goes, like they'll take anything and turning it into anime. Like there's a game where all the characters are based off of real life racing horses, and they're all like personified into anime girls. So like everything can and will be anime.
You know, this year, like horse girls, like the anime horse girls, have actually risen above cat girls in popularity.
Really?
They've actually
because of that game. Like that's the only game I've heard of that like visual from.
Because of that game, horse girls are in. Cat girls who have had decades of supremacy as like the
monopoly.
The monopoly on this thing. Oh, they are out.
Wow.
I mean, really, like, let's be fair. Anime horse girls is the natural progression of horse girls, like girls who love horses.
Yes,
and,
I
like
see.
Want to ride horses and like ranch horses and stuff like that. So it's just the natural progression, really. Like I'm surprised
they saddled upon horses.
Yeah, you want to ride horses, not be ridden by horses. Although now with Mizumi, like now you want to be ridden by a horse. Anyways,
wow.
Moving on.
Please.
But yeah, so Gamer, what do you got for chapter 9?
No.
Nothing? Okay, cool.
Yeah, nothing.
All right, on to actual thoughts then. So we'll start back up with chapter 7, The Sin Eaters. So I'll start with this one here, this quote. According to popular Otherkin lore, it was said in this city, halfway between fairy and the human territories, there were parties and festivities of all kinds. even though the streets weren't paved with gold. There were arcades full of free food along with ornamental gewgaws and fashionable clothing to wear. Here, anyone was welcome to set up shop. Shops, no matter their class or origin. Here, all your desires and dreams would eventually come true. And if you stay here long enough, you could even become a citizen of Fairy. Sweet. Also, I don't think that should be. I think one of those betweens at the beginning there should be removed. That's just a little quick grammar inquisition I just realized.
Yeah, the halfway between.
Yeah, although I mean, it is like a weird threshold, like liminal space kind of thing. So maybe a halfway between, like maybe that's the thing. I don't know. Probably not. But the important thing, actually, for my actual thought here is, sweet, we're actually getting expository lore on the setting. Also, love the idea that this town is on the border of the mundane and fairy world. Just like I love that. I guess it's kind of a trope, but also I just like that idea, that concept of a town that's like got 1 foot in one door and 1 foot in the other, or like 1 foot on the other side of the door and the other, in terms of like different realities and such.
Is that town referring to Hogan's Bay Gap?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I assumed. Yeah. Especially since like they're in Hogan's Bay /Gap /Hogarth's Gap.
Right, it's Hogarth Bay Gap.
And there is a literal bridge that links to Fairy. It goes over a river. Yeah. But moving on to the next thing I have here. Meanwhile, Lolly did not notice the old chimes of the town clock as it sounded off the hour of 10. She did not notice the revelers recoiling in disgust as she pranced happily by, swinging her Hot Topic pack like a ditzy schoolgirl in one of her favorite anime. And she did not even notice the pug Pocky being dognapped by some sympathetic street urchins dressed as old-fashioned newsboys. So that's all one sentence. So it's a bit.
We were out of the grammar.
We're gonna get there. We are like Hogan's Gap. We are between two worlds. Yeah, we are between two worlds.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
that was a great game, honestly. Everyone hated the Two Worlds game, but I loved it.
Oh right, yeah, that one.
It was like the co-op Skyrim, but it was bad.
Yeah, well, it was like essentially like the poor man's Skyrim because it was like always in the $5 bin.
Yeah, it had an excellent magic system. Please continue.
Okay. Also, so getting back to the actual point here, aside from the run-on aspect, at first I reacted to this like, oh no, someone just dognapped the pug. But then I thought, you know what? Pocky is probably better off.
I mean, maybe, yeah.
He was dognapped by some sympathetic street urchins. It's like they're like, oh no, let's save this poor pug. He's been through enough. He's a pug.
Yeah. Plus, honestly, the dog's done nothing in this whole story. He's been mentioned a couple of times that he's just there.
Yeah, he's just been like existing in pain.
Yeah. So this is fine.
Yeah, I know. He's gotten a better life now. He's with these newsboys.
Mm-hmm.
Pocky and the Newsboys, my new favorite high school ska band. Moving on to the next thing I have here. Although her eyes were open and she stared straight ahead, her mind had wandered away to a sunny, happy place where life was sugoi and there were no worries or pain. Things would be much easier if she was a real elf. She reasoned. Elves were like so perfect. They have incredible keen senses, vast knowledge, enchantment, and eternal beauty. Enchantment. So I kind of want to draw inspiration from this aspect of for like an urban fantasy game or a Shadowrun scenario. Sorry, Mikey, where a cultist or a client is trying to become a different metatype forcefully and through occult or arcane means, like a human who doesn't want to, like, who's bored with being human, like, and mundane, and is a super elf poser, or what have you. I'll go with elf poser since, like, for the story, like she wants to be an elf.
Yes.
That is trying to find some dark occult ritual or perform some sort of blood sacrifice to express herself into an elf. become a blood elf, if you will.
Nice.
It could even be like a series of murders or disappearances that the players have to investigate and source out the truth of it, like that, like finding her is the end goal, or she could in fact be the client that you're commissioned as runners or what have you to acquire supplies, and if you start asking questions, you learn the terrible truth as to what the job's all actually about and the depraved extent your client is willing to go to for her obsession.
Yeah, bit of a like dilemma there for the Shadowrunners.
A moral dilemma, or like just like, hey, do you really want to like sacrifice a bunch of like orphans just so this rich chick can become an elf?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the moral dilemma of that.
But Nuyen, though.
Yeah, but money. That's I actually learned a new a recently. I don't know if this is like an actual like established thing now, but like obviously like we've heard of things before on this show as like economic horror, or we've talked about economic horror before. But today I learned about a term called wage horror, where like it's a horror situation, but like you're stuck at work, or like you still got to get paid.
Oh, okay.
So it's similar to economic horror, but yeah, it's sort of that dilemma of like, well, there's horrible shit happening and there's a horror scenario literally happening around me, but I got bills to pay, so I gotta work still.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just like this was definitely starting to inspire. There's a couple of things that in this story that kind of inspired like ideas for like other game scenarios or even like other stories. But I'll move on to the next thing I have here. With a snort of disgust, she pushed those voices to the back of her mind, along with any worries about the now missing Pocky. That pug was getting tiresome anyway, with its high-pitched, overexcited barking, its lumbering and trembling gait, and its constant wheezing, coughing, and farting. And any shred of empathy I had for Lolly up to this point is gone. Just flushed right down the toilet as a misunderstood villain. Fuck this bitch.
Oh, so that's why Ellery wants her dead. That specifically.
Yeah, clearly, yeah. Honestly, the reason we find out, like, the Ellery finds out why, like, Lolly is, like, trying to, like, curse her and why Ellery wants to curse her back, it makes a lot more sense after we find out about the, like, her intentions. Because, yeah, it's like, this bitch is trying to, like, curse Ellery with that Ouija board thing for, like, no fucking reason, like, for, like, such petty reasons as jealousy over art. Like, I mean, who hasn't done that to their art rival in high school? I mean really? Like, no, anybody?
I think it was just you, Cultus.
Ooh, now I'm starting to realize why I originally like kind of like was sympathetic to Lolly. I got some people I gotta like apologize to.
It's kind of weird. Like in high school, I used to like draw a lot, and then I stopped all of a sudden. I don't know why.
So you're unrelated.
You sure about that?
I mean, maybe. Like you weren't on my list. Anyway, moving on. Before we incriminate ourselves to the whiz cops.
Yes.
Moving on to the next thing here. No one knows exactly why the Ashi covered bridge is haunted, or who was it exactly that cast the curse and made it a dwelling place / checkpoint of the demonic Ashi. Okay, what is an Ashi? And I actually did I roughly knew what how to pronounce she, but I actually had to look up like how you pronounce the and for why you're wondering, anybody listening, why you're wondering why I'm referring to the pronunciation, all that stuff. So the spelling is ADH and then SEIDH because it's Gaelic.
Mm-hmm.
So Ashi, a malevolent Irish fae creature that hunts individuals with a guilty conscience, appearing as a frog, black horse, or feminine human form. It inflicts torment and by scratching victims' chests, often leading them to madness or death. People with a clear conscience are safe from its persecution, making peace with one's guilt a way to escape the Ashi's attention. And we basically kind of get this like from and that's what I found online, like where I looked up what an Ashi was, and then we kind of get this from the old Lamia lady. So, but and speaking of, we have this. For humans and half-breeds alike, in this part of the world at least, the woman went on, the bridge is a test, a sort of rite of passage. Those with a clear conscience have nothing to fear from the Ashi guardians of that particular gate. And to that I was just like, well, Lolly's toast. Because she's already like shown that she's like not only is she actually guilty, but she's already been having like these like kind of remorseful like thoughts about her guilt in her mind. So, but somehow she makes it through, probably because of that trinket that she's got in her hand.
Assuming it's actually a trinket and not just something she bought off eBay.
Yeah. Also, with the Ashi thing and like how like it's ADH SEIDH, it's Ashi. Man, gamer, if you didn't like English as a language, you're gonna hate Gaelic.
Oh, probably. Because like nothing makes sense.
Yeah, well, no, because it's like don't look up the Irish spelling for Shersha or for Saoirse.
Okay, it's nothing like what I thought it would be.
It will surprise you. But I'll move on to the next thing I have here. Most people around have enough good sense to let those things lie where they're found, and let the forensic guys collect it. They even have a special storage unit for such macabre things. So this is in regards to like how like the remains of people who don't pass the test end up like as like bits and pieces, and even like crafted into like ornate like pieces of jewelry or like little artifacts and stuff like that left by the like created by like fake craftsmen and stuff like that. And now
they put in a green box.
Yeah, exactly. And now I want that story about the storage unit for these fake craft memento mori objects. Like honestly, this whole bridge idea as a threshold and a test before entering the fairy wilds, and the fate of those who are guilty, have guilt in their heart, is ripe for game fodder for things like Vossen, or even given like the fairy folklore nature and stuff like that. But also, like you said, like you brought up a gamer with Delta Green and those kind of games with like a green box angle as well. And for anybody who doesn't know, a green box in the game of Delta Green, which is like kind of a government conspiracy against like a mythos sort of situation. Green boxes are storage units or like safe houses where the conspiracy keeps supplies for their agents out in the field. And sometimes they are in storage units and just have like a plethora of like weird fucked up shit on top of like regular arsenals and weapons. So, but I'll continue on. Apparently this is just going to be like a list of notes of things I love about the story and are inspired by the story. Because on to the next quote here. They aren't hims or hers, they're its. Do you even know what ghosts are? I mean, what they really are? Of course, muttered Benny, giving her a puzzled look. They're people who've died and can't move on. They've got lost. Wrong, harumphed the Lamia. They're empty shells, hollow shadows, mocking caricatures. They're all the nasty and spiteful bits of the soul that can't get into paradise or even perdition. They're just so much slighted ectoplasm with a long memory or a complete inability to forgive. Next time one of those wretched things starts shooting its mouth off, do yourself a favor. Stick your fingers in your ears and start whistling the theme tune from Laurel and Hardy. They really hate that. And I really kind of love this description for ghosts. It's sort of up there with the idea that ghosts are like are just like a recording of somebody's like or a recorded moments in somebody's life, like after death. Yeah. But a little bit more interesting, I think, because like it's just the bits and pieces of your soul that can't go to heaven or hell. It's kind of like it's the leftovers. It's the stuff that like is sifted out of you when you pass on to the next reality. And it's just left on Earth, like as basically your baggage. And I just love that. It's like all all the emotions that like are not like they're like it's just the purest like unfiltered emotions, or the purest filtered emotions of you that have been left behind. Also, I had to look up Laura and Hardy, like the theme tune. Also, I had to look up Laura and Hardy because I didn't initially recognize them.
Really?
Yeah, they were, but for context, they are a comedic duo during the early classical black and white era of Hollywood. And God, that is both super specific and yet, given the age of the material, kind of fitting as a bane for spirits. Like, yes, just whistle this tune, like the tune, and you'll real piss them off. They absolutely can't stand it. It's just annoying. I mean, after you listen to it enough, like for like more than like a minute or two, like yeah, it would get annoying. And then yeah, so I also just kind of wonder if these ghostly figures stalking Lolly are in fact actually the Sin Eaters the chapter title is referring to, because up to this point, like the title didn't really make a whole lot of sense. So I have to wonder if maybe that's what these things are.
Keep forgetting about trying to like see what the reasoning of the chapter titles are.
Yeah.
But yes, probably. Or it's the thing that's no, it's got to be that because that's what it refers to. I was gonna say it might be the thing that's stalking Kess.
Yeah, the
outcast.
Yeah, but Mikey, do you have anything for chapter 7?
Mikey, are you still here? That's a better question.
Mikey.
He's muted currently. He's unmuted currently.
You were muted today, yes. It's not just gamer.
Yes. So for chapter 7, let's see here. The more I hear about Lolly, the more I try to determine what she has. Like, she has some weird disease in my mind. Like, and the best I can come up with is oily diarrhea with worms.
Gross.
Yeah, and the worms are eating her from the inside out, which is why she smells of death.
Yeah.
And her shoes being filled with stuff is just the poop running down her legs.
Yeah. And then she's just like in Delulu land, just like, no, everything's fine. I'm Susugoi. Kawaii. Meanwhile, she's like, she is not looking good. Like the makeup is definitely it seems like her makeup is covering up that like she is basically a walking corpse.
Kind of like Ellery.
I was gonna say, yeah, there's some interesting parallels between Ellery and Lolly here. We're noticing.
We'll find out at the end that they're the same person,
or that they both like it's like she cursed her and like she cursed the other, like sort of thing. It's like they're even both trying to curse each other. Yeah, like they're two sides of the same coin almost, in a way, in terms of like they're both the same kind of in terms of their circumstances, but they are different like personalities. Oh god, yeah, it is going to be revealed that like Ellery's just like Lolly's dark half.
They're the same person.
Yeah, they've somehow been split though, and so like Lolly is like the happy, the toxic positivity, and Ellery is the negative the negative toxicity. That could be interesting. I do have an idea. Like I find out like in one of the other chapters, I do have some notes on like what I actually think Lolly's situation is. But yeah, up to this point, it is definitely feeling okay. She's definitely corrupted by something, and like she's got some kind of disease or some kind of like taint upon her.
All right. And then my next actual thought here is that I didn't get the twist at the end of the chapter. Like we get that the rock star ghost is following her, but like, is it just insinuating that all the people that annoyed Lolly, their souls are following her because she's got some weird curse going on?
I think she literally killed all these people because she even yelled at him that she's going to kill him, and then later on his like shadow form spirit is just following her. So I think that this is just her kill count so far.
Yeah, I just kind of realized that now, like that, like, because Ellery was saying like a week or two ago, like her and her friends like met with like with accidents and stuff like that. After and that's when the events, like that was around the events that like the high school stuff happened. And yeah, I think basically like Ellery's just like either the final girl or the lone survivor of her friend group, and like the group that was hating on Lolly, and Lolly was getting revenge on through the curses. She's the one that found out about the curse, that Lolly was planting on people.
I mean, she might also not even be doing this intentionally. It could just be the proximity around her. Like, yes, she gets mad at people and said that she wanted to kill him, but it might just be like unintentional deaths around her.
I think it could either be intentional deaths, or it could be like, again, like the thing that like maybe she struck a deal with, because like later on in the chapter I have a theory that about, again, her whole Lolly's situation is kind of like there's something revealed about her, and it's got to do with the Rose Prince and such. So, but yeah, I think it could either be an accident, or like it's something is killing her, people for her, sort of situation. Something is enacting upon her kill list, basically. That's good though. That does actually kind of make the ending a little bit more sense. Like that these are like the souls of her, the souls of those who she wronged or she cursed. And
they're not just like actual people walking behind her, because I'm pretty sure they were like summoned in the darkness. Like
they came out of the alleys and stuff like that, out of the shadows. So
so those are my thoughts for chapter 7.
Gamer.
Okay, I got a couple here. Her books of spells and sorts. This is after like she got in trouble and all that, and she was getting help. Her books of spells and sorcery had been confiscated by the authorities, and her consumption of Japanese cuisine and anime merchandise completely restricted on orders of her parents and therapist. So when I read that, I'm like, is this actually confirming that she actually had magical powers? Or is it just like the removal of anime, where it's just like to get the objects of her obsession out of her reach? I think it's the latter.
I think there's sort of a combination. I think it's both in a way. Like, I think she is delusional and like thinks she's she's a reincarnated elf princess or whatever, bound in human flesh or bound in human form. But I think because of her obsession, she's trying to dabble. I think it's what what inspired to make a game scenario based off of. I think she's actually obsessed with the using because of that obsession, she's like dabbling in things that she shouldn't be with the occult and magic.
And she's actually dabbling in real things, like
because
real magical things.
Yeah, because she's like from a town or like near a town that borders on the land of fairy and magic. So, and has like magic being among mortals. So,
I do think it's weird that her books of spells and sorcery were confiscated by the authorities. Which I guess makes it seem like those were actually legit bad books to have, because if it was confiscated by her parents or like something like that, it's like whatever, they're just whatever books that she's obsessed with, but the cops took them.
Yeah. And now I envision Wolf Cop as the one that took the books from her.
Of course, he's the only police officer in this whole thing. We know this.
There are other cops. We do know that there are other cops.
Oh yeah, we saw the one guy and police dog.
But Druid Cop and Wolf Cop.
Oh right, he's a druid. I forgot about that.
Yeah, Wolf Cop, and because Lolly is from Curtisville, so it's Wolf Cop, and Druid Cop is in charge of Hogan's Gap.
Yes. Also, we have not seen that that cop that Lolly spoke to and Druid Cop in the same scene yet, so they might be the same person.
Druid Cop?
Hell yeah.
No, it's Wolf Cop and Druid Constable.
Ooh.
Because steampunk.
Yes, of course.
I know like we're just being like silly and stuff like that, but like I love our little headcanon additions to the Curtisville stories, and I hope,
it's fun trying to connect the like things that shouldn't be connected.
and I do know that Emma Pratt does occasionally listen to our episodes when we do Curtisville stories. First off, we're sorry.
Yeah.
But also like we hope you enjoy these silly tangents and headcanons.
Mm.
But yes, I have something later. I think in like the next chapter about like the grimoires, that people are dabbling in the story. But
Okay, so moving on. Speaking of, I'm sorry. This is a bad, I wish you didn't bring that up right before this. It's fine. Had everyone been at home, Lolly would never have risked it. But with just the easily distractible twin, she knew that she had a chance of succeeding. This is in regards to her sneaking out. Yeah. Because she was basically under house arrest. And she did succeed thanks to her rigorous stealth ninja training. Memorizing all those Naruto manga had proved useful after all. This is a joke, right? This can't be serious. Like, that line is like troll past the levels of silly. We're supposed to be making the silly jokes here, not the story. Like, it's saying that reading Naruto manga makes you actually an effective ninja.
I don't think that's actually what's happening here. I think she's just
It
says that, but you got to understand this is being told partially from Lolly's point of view. So of course this is like, oh yeah, this clearly works. All those memorizing those Naruto. No, she just got lucky and got out of her house. I think this is like partially being filtered through her delusional perspective.
All right, this isn't one of the chapters where it's Ellery speaking. This is the narrator.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, this is essentially like Lolly third person. So we're getting a bit of her filter in here. So that's where this comes from.
I wish it switched to first person with her talking, thinking that, though, because it's saying that the narrator thinks that that's true, which the narrator should be unbiased and like just be speaking the truth here.
Yes and no. Yes, for the most part, most of the time, yes, but like sometimes like it is like the third person perspective like will have a little bit of a filter of like whoever they're focusing on. So like I've seen that in I've seen that in novels and stuff like that before, like when the third person but it's focusing on like a certain character and like it's focusing on their perspective and like even like into the third person, not even the first person. So
this is like the only line where it does that though.
Yeah,
everything else I've seen the narrator as just like they're describing what's actually happening.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It just felt like an outlier to me.
Fair.
And then my next one. Meanwhile, the little voices at the back of her head were telling her what she was doing was wrong. They were telling her to turn around and go back home. This is in regards to the bridge, I guess. Yep. They were telling her that something was terribly wrong here. They were telling her she was being an idiot, pining away for a lost life she would never have instead of learning how to cope with her present reality. So, I mean, I've kind of had this in the back of my head this whole time, but especially when it got here, it's just like the first thing it made me think of is like body dysmorphia is a thing. And I'm not sure if that's the proper term for what Lolly is going through, but viewing her with that lens and having her like the target of hate throughout this entire story just feels yucky now, Yeah,
I mean,
if that's literally all her problem is she isn't comfortable in the body that she had, and then that deserves all this hate constantly thrown at her.
The thing is, like, yeah, you like having that kind of like thing is bad, but like it is also like this is what makes her kind of a sympathetic villain because like her actions, like her having that does not excuse.
She's not redeemable anymore because of the puppy dog issue.
Well, yeah, that was also partially in jest. To be fair,
I couldn't tell. It's dog, so I get it.
It is dog, so like yeah, like she definitely lost some points with me. Like, but like again, when you think about like yeah, from like a psychological point of view, and like as we've been reading these stories, yeah, like I have been feeling a little like sorry for Lolly regarding this whole situation. But it is like having like a mental illness or something like that. It does not make it does not like excuse actions, and she has been she has been doing some shitty stuff as well. But like, so it makes her like sympathetic, but she's still being like kind of she's being villainous. And she's through like it's through this like these delusions and through this like perhaps possible mental illness that she has to deal with. But she's also like, yeah, again, like she does have like it is mentioned that she has a therapist and stuff like that, but like obviously it's not helping, or she's like it's not getting through to her. But
it almost seemed like the therapist just showed up because of the most recent events, not that she's had one the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. Like after the events at school and stuff like that.
Yeah, that got her anime and
occult
magic
ritual.
books taken.
Also, like assuming like this is that is sort of like something that a part of her character, like mental illness, occult, and like arcane things that actually work. Not a good mix.
It's really not.
No. Also, just like fan obsession of stuff like that is also not a good mix. And adding on to that as well, just stacking on. Like she is a sympathetic character, like from at least from our perspectives as readers, but like also like she is still being kind of like a villainous and like because of her actions. So
yeah, like, and especially like when she got all this stuff taken from her, and like she's not realizing that she's the problem here, and like especially with therapy and all that, and she still chooses to go against what everyone else is saying to try to sneak out and go to her other life. Yeah.
Yeah, she wants to stay in the illusion, in the fantasy, and not like come to grips with reality.
Yeah,
her like, mundane reality.
With how she is, like she needed to be put into like a mental hospital, not just house arrest kind of deal.
Yeah, or like she doesn't need to be like taken care of. Yeah, it's she's definitely like there's definitely like there's surprisingly some depth to her character as like as an antagonist in the story. Mm-hmm. Aside from like the whole like Sugoi and all that, like the anime like weeboo shaming that we see in the story. Honestly, I think the fact that we're all like, at least I don't know, Mikey, are you an anime fan?
Yeah.
I mean, like I don't know, but like I don't know about like all of you guys, but like I do kind of relate with her as like somebody who loved anime in high school, and like so like that kind of stuff did, like reading the story, it didn't make me uncomfortable per se, but like I could relate to some of the like and I felt sorry for her because of some of the shaming that she's receiving from the characters in these stories. But yeah, like it doesn't mean like I condone any of the stuff she's been like any of the like reactionary stuff that she's been doing to like get vengeance on people. It just kind of makes her character a little bit more relatable or a little bit more sympathetic, but like she's still the villain.
At this point of the story, what has she done to anyone else besides from possibly murdering all the shadow people that are following her? What has been actually told to us that she's done that's horrible?
Up till now, like up until like if you're not counting like the next couple of like the next two chapters that we've read,
I'm talking about chapter 7.
Yeah, chapter 7. I mean, aside from not caring about the dog, because like that's always like a sort of like a hard line for me. but like yeah, right now I'm still kind of like on the fence as to like what has she actually done. In fact, she might be just as much a victim in this situation, and to a degree she still is as much a victim because she's a victim of her own like minds, of her own like circumstances and situation. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's not until later that it kind of like makes okay, no, there is actually something here that she's been doing. But up till now, yeah, no, she is still kind of sympathetic and a victim.
Yeah, it only got mentioned when later on she like shows up in Ellery's room. Like that's the only time where she's actively doing something malicious.
Yeah. And then, especially in this chapter, we get like Ruby Rose, the large twin-tailed wolf. And I was like, when I saw that, I was like, okay, she's either like, this is an illusion, or like, this is like a delusion in her mind.
Yeah.
Or this is the thing that's fucking, like, this is the reason why she's so fucked up. Like, this is the thing that she is playing with that she shouldn't be playing with.
I think it's it could be a form of the Rose Prince.
I took
Roses are red, so is the red wolf.
I know exactly. Like there's a spot later in the next like chapter or two when I realized, wait, have we ever seen Ruby Rose and the Rose Prince in the same room?
Dude, we've
like,
barely seen any characters in the same room together.
No, I know, but yeah, no, like, you just point out like Ruby Rose, the Rose Prince. Ruby Rose goes missing, and then we get a bunch of stuff about the Rose Prince, like, and then before he goes back to Fairy, presumably to become the Ruby Rose again. I was like, oh, so this is what's going on. Like, and I guess I'll spoil my theory as to what's going on with Lolly here. She's essentially a D&D warlock. She's made a pact with something.
Yeah,
and to get power, to get her magic back, in quotes. And it is giving her like breadcrumbs, but is also basically like stolen her soul, or is like ripping apart her soul in the process. Much
giving
like
her breadcrumbs. You mean it's drip feeding her magic, basically?
Like you said, yeah, breadcrumbs of like magic, but like giving her a little and taking a lot, basically off of her, which is essentially what a warlock in D&D is. Like, if you want to make a tragic like D&D character, use the warlock because they like, yeah, you get cool powers, but you get fucked in the long run.
Yeah, I guess that does happen in the lore. The last time that we had a warlock in our party on our other podcast, One Last Die, I don't remember anything negative happening to him. He was just a warlock with cool powers.
I played it lighter because like his warlock was actually like a part of his character, technically, like his patron.
I don't remember who his patron was.
It was a psychic parasite that it's part of his like his race's thing, like as a Kalashtar. They have a basically a dream parasite that is like ancestral to their lineage.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that's basically like he was a warlock technically, like mechanically, but flavor wise, he wasn't actually a warlock. He was a Phalok. He was a Pholok. he thought his patron was like a great old one, when really it was just like the psychic parasite in his brain.
Mm-hmm.
That was what his warlock patron was in our Eberron.
I see.
So, go check out our Eberron campaign on One Less Die, A Shot's Adventures. Plug.
Plug.
But yeah, if you're playing like a more like straight ace, or like a pure warlock from D&D, there's a reason why like the patron is like an archdemon or an archfey or a great old one as a choice. Like, these are not like benevolent beings all the time.
No.
Like, if you want a benevolent being, well, I mean, I guess go paladin or cleric, but even that's a toss up sometimes. But yeah, like they're all about like basically like getting control over you or taking your soul, so that in the long run and in the short run you get power.
Yeah.
So that, I think, is what that's my theory on what's going on with Lolly, is that through those occult books that she bought or that she acquired, she's so hung up on becoming on being something magical and not mundane that she's made a deal with something evil or dark, i.e. the Rose Prince. And it's, again, like you said, it's like drip feeding her power when really it's also just consuming her soul.
Yeah, for sure. It does straight up say that as well, I'm pretty sure, in the story.
Yeah, that's part of my one note for chapter 8, I believe. So,
well, why not making a pact with the worm that walks? Because I mean, clearly she's releasing worms as she walks.
Well, I mean,
wow.
Fair enough. Also, a worm that walks. Actually, a worm that walks is actually just a sorcerer who has transformed their mind into a swarm of insects or worms. Hence, why it's called the worm that walks. It's not actually a deity. It's actually just a mortal sorcerer that has made themselves immortal through necromancy.
So you're saying that she's a necromancer?
Kinda, yeah, in a way. She might also slowly be becoming a worm that walks.
Hmm.
But yeah. Do you have any more for chapter 7, gamer?
Yeah, I got one more.
Okay.
This part's just kind of like a little bit of a rant, just because like it seems like every chapter and like almost every subchapter within the chapter is just shitting on how Lolly smells bad and how she's a gross weeaboo. I'm getting really tired of reading it over and over. Every time a new character sees this character, we get it again. And then they talk about it for 5 minutes after about how disgusting that character just was. It's beating us over the head with it repeatedly. Like, I wish I did a counter for the number of characters who have commented negatively on Lolly's look/smell. I think we'd be well over 15 by now. Like, easily. It just keeps happening.
Yeah, this is again part of the reason why like I've been kind of like, again, I felt bad for her, like for like how people are treating her, is because of how frequently it comes up. Like,
Just
it's not
all the time.
Yeah. Again, see our thing that we had, like the thing that we jokingly said last week, where it was like, who hurt you? Like, what anime convention hurt you to
Mhm.
make you hate anime fans so much? I mean, I get it. Like, some of us are the worst, and there's a stereotype of anime fans and nerds for a reason. But like, who hurt you? It is pretty repetitive in that regard. Like this whole story so far, with that kind of like just beating that dead horse.
Yeah. And like it comes up like constantly again and again. Like I'll just because we're on it, I'll talk about it now. In chapter 8, in the dream that Ellery has, what's her name? Let me go up to my massive list of characters. Lyra is speaking to her and says like, you know, the McLaren kid, and Ellery says, I nodded, recalling that buggy-eyed baby-faced brat who thought she was a Nipponese elf goddess forced into permanent exile. She's in your house right now, Lyra replied in a low voice. So like in this part, I appreciate how like she's being warned through this dream, but like, and Ellery's telling this to everyone, like this is part of the story that she's actively saying. But at this point in the story, in chapter 8, yes, I jumped ahead, we are 113,000 characters into this story. We as the readers and they as the nowcast listening to Ellery say the story do not need another description of Lolly. Like, everyone knows in setting and everyone reading knows. I get that Ellery is like seething with anger and begging for vengeance against this poor girl, but it just doesn't stop. And I'm really, really tired of it.
Fair. Yes. Yeah, it is definitely like, also, yeah, this is the point. Like, and yes, in this section, we also get like, oh, it's like also why like she is after Ellery, and for petty reasons and stuff like that. Like, she escalated pretty quickly.
Yes. But we'll get
Like,
on to that. Either way,
yeah.
that is the end of my chapter 7 and my rant about how they need to stop ranting.
Your rant on rants.
Yeah. I'm counter ranting.
Yeah. Well, I suppose that, yeah, it's as best a segues we've got for chapter 8.
Chapter 8, go. Let's go.
Yeah, chapter 8, a series of strange occurrences. So this one's when it's with Kiki and stuff like that, and it's like, so enlighten me with your fabulous solution. How did you finally get that book to work? Did you burn some magical incense and say things like open sesame or hocus pocus, or was it just plain old willpower? Kiki laughed scornfully. Ha! I don't use any magic to get this book working. Now watch carefully. I'm about to use some magic. Like,
Is she though?
it's technically from like a street performer's point of view, yes, it's magic. too. But like, I gave Kiki the benefit of the doubt, like to give her the benefit of the doubt. And then I read a little further to see her explanation on the situation, and it still kind of reads like magic.
Well, she's accessing magic through mundane means.
Yeah, but that's still magic.
The question was, how did you get the magic to work? And did you use magic to get it working? It's like, no, I did not use magic to get it working. I used this mundane device.
Yeah.
So that part is factual.
It's still like sleight of hand magic as far as I'm concerned, but
I suppose. It's literally smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, literally, yeah, which is a magic trick. Magic.
Magic and magic are different things, though.
They are, unfortunately. Like magic that a wizard's cast versus magic that a rogue would cast. To continue on with the D&D analogies, because like sleight of magic. Sleight of hand magic is totally a rogue. Like a magician or like a street performer would definitely just be a rogue class.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on to the next thing I have here. I can't help it, Thwissel, growled Kiki. This book bothers me. Remember what Grandma said? She said that the words aren't arranged like that in a regular book. They're all in sort of a code. Tulagak sighed wearily. So what's your point? Don't you get it? Exclaimed Kiki in exasperation. You just bought a trap. Only this thing doesn't use food or bait. It uses puzzles instead. First off, is the whistle a slur, or is that like Tulagak's nickname? I
assume so.
Tell. I mean, we've seen a number of like fantasy replacement expletives in this series, in this chapter, and like in the story by now, like Zarked.
Yep.
Or Zarbed. Just as a couple of examples. And then secondly, I gotta say, the kids in these towns, Curtisville and Hogan's Gap, or whatever.
Hogarth's Gap, Hogarth's Bay. I don't fucking know anymore.
They all these kids have far too easy access of Necronomicon levels of grimoires and spell books.
You right.
Moving on to my next quote here. I don't think those creeps were wizards at all, said Kiki curtly. Curtisville. Anyway, sorry.
That's horrible.
That's horrible, awful. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Said Kiki curtly. They were probably demons, and they were probably waiting for us to unlock the doorway to their dimension. Said Tulagak, yawning. Look, if you don't like it, then quit fiddling with it. She peeked over the side at a fuming Kiki. We can trade it off at the Festival of Spells Saturday, she suggested. I repeat, why do children have such easy access to spell books?
The Festival of Spells.
Yeah, even fantastical fairfolk children, this seems incredibly ill-advised. Where are the Churka parents? Or
there aren't any. There's only grandparents.
The grandparents are still parental units.
Yeah. But then they could just be like, you're not my mom. Oh, you know what? You're right. Do what you want.
Like, this is like Hogwarts levels of irresponsible.
Yeah.
All of this to say, I do love it.
Of course you do.
Because again, like, this is what this is ridiculous, but this also like, this is what creates the story. What creates the situation is this ill-advised situation. I just love it. It's like, where are all these children? First off, where are all these children getting these Necronomicon levels of like spell books, and where can I get them?
Yes, that's the second question.
Yeah, but moving on. Next to the pantry sat several recycling bins. Kiki opened the one labeled food scraps. It was empty except for a pile of dirt and wriggling masses of slimy blue omniverms. So I'm guessing these omniverms are like an otherworldly equivalent of worms or maggots, the kind of things that, are put in compost bins.
It's like a Flintstones garbage, not compactor, garbage disposal.
Yeah, no, yeah. And I mean, like, to be fair, even like they seem to be able to eat anything, including a mirror and a book. Like a book I could understand because like a book is organic. But apparently like she tossed in the mirror later on, like to the omnivorms, to eat. So like I guess they can also eat inorganic matter.
Yeah, but they can't eat the bucket they're in.
No, because it's a glass bucket.
It's not the mirror.
No, actually, here's the fun fact: mirrors aren't always glass. Most of the time, they're metal. That's why where the idea of like the silvered mirror, like polished silver mirror, comes from. Is the mirror an older type of mirror would be actually like polished silver or like a polished metal, not actually a glass surface.
Okay.
But I digress. Honestly, like again, like this is just another example of what seems to be an original name for some kind of fantastical creature. This chapter just loves to explore that facet again. Case in point, Tulagak and I guess Kiki and maybe their grandma are something called churkas. And as far as I could tell, like Googling and stuff of that, I couldn't find a folkloric example of a churka.
Mhm.
So I think it's similar to like the Gurdins, which are like cat people, and I think churkas might have some featheriness to them based on some light description we get of Kiki and Tulagak.
Yeah.
So it might just be like another original race of beings from the setting that M.M. Pratt has made.
Mhm.
Which again I love. It just I love how these stories occasionally just name drop like a fantasy race, and I like try to look for it and I can't find it, and it's like, oh, I guess it's just an original thing that's made for the story. Or we get a bit of like a fantastical realism with like the omnivorms in the food scraps bin that like can eat anything except for glass. Apparently.
I kind of wish they would we'd have more description for these new races that are being introduced, because there was no description aside from that they have like good night vision. I kind of assumed that it was a race that we've already seen before because they're not described.
I almost wonder if these are also like Chick-Charney, because we have encountered in a couple of other stories in and around Curtisville that there are like families of Chick-Charney, which are like owl people.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be what that's seems. Maybe I'm just going off of like because the names are similar, Churkas and Chick-Charneys, but like it could be a similar like species.
Possibly.
Because we get like the good eyesight, which is like generally like a bird, but it could also be in any animal, like any type of animal species, really. But we do also there's also mention of some feathers, and that could either be like just like from the pile of things that she's for the dummy that she made, or that could also be like a clue as to like they may be feathered in some way.
Mm.
But yeah, I do agree. We could use a little bit more description on like these new fantasy races we're encountering, because like we get a ton with Gurdines. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say every time they're brought up, they're described repeatedly, and then we get a new race, and it's just like, I don't know, figure it out.
yeah, look it up if you look it up, even though you can't like find anything for it.
Yeah,
and maybe I just didn't do like a deeper enough dive, but like as far as I could tell, like I couldn't find a folkloric origin for churkas. So
we need a Curtisville bestiary.
I would love, oh my god, like legitimate. I'm not even joking. M.M. Pratt. I would love a bestiary. or a like an encyclopedia of lore for your story settings.
Mm-hmm.
I think I said that last week with the like that I would love a lore Bible.
Yes.
And then moving on to the next thing, which so the next thing here is she quickly dropped the book in eat up quick before my sister finds out. Shutting the lid, Kiki then dropped the mirror in the glass bin. Oh, okay, so sorry, my bad. The glass bin and the food scraps bin are different from each other. I thought she was tossing the mirror in with the omnivorms.
Oh, I thought she was too.
Yeah, no, it does actually just straight up say like she shut that lid and then dropped it into the glass. Okay.
So it's basically like a compost bin for us.
Yeah, like recycling bin and a green
bin. Yeah.
Although I've got to say, okay, now this kind of like pokes some holes here, because like, so she fed the grimoire to the compost bin, And then she just dropped the mirror into the glass bin. So I guess there's glass. Anyway,
It's a mirror.
I know, but I just went through the whole tirade about how mirrors aren't necessarily glass because of like polished silver is a mirror.
Yeah, but
Anyway,
this is like modern day.
I know. But it's also a magical mirror.
No, it's
Also-
not. It's a mirror.
No, it is it is a mirror that has like magical properties. It does like when you refract it, you can see different dimensions and you can see
Yeah.
like
I think that's the book doing that.
I think is that not in conjunction to
No, the book, like, you can project the magic from the book through any mirror. Is how I got it, anyways.
Okay.
Well, I got it
Maybe
as long as it was a chimney-shaped mirror.
Yeah, but also on that because like when I think Mikey brought it up in the rundown or in sorry, not the rundown in your conjunction junction.
Which is rundown 2.
Yeah. Rundown 2.0. I did actually Google up chimney mirror because I was pretty sure I knew what that was, and it didn't make any sense to me. And then I looked it up. It's like, yeah, no, that's a huge ass fucking mirror. Like generally,
Well,
chimney
shape
mirrors
doesn't mean the size of it. No, it's not a mirror for a chimney.
I understand that.
Stop being angry.
I typed in chimney shaped mirror and I kept getting chimney mirrors, which unless they're a different thing, they're basically like the tall mirrors that you walk you go to like check your full body on and stuff.
The way I assumed it was, the way I assumed it was basically like a kaleidoscope where it's a mirror looking at a mirror looking at a mirror for them, but it's like a long. So it's like a tube of mirrors, but it's square. That's how I visualized a chimney.
Yeah,
but regardless,
maybe that's it. That needs to be like, no. Like, regardless, that does need to be clarified then, because like I did not see it as a kaleidoscopic or like a tube of mirrors. I saw it as like a flat mirror. Because I did not interpret that at all.
Because a chimney-shaped mirror, if it was flat, it would just be a square mirror that has a smaller rectangle on top of it.
Yeah, that's
But that shape of it makes it work.
Yeah,
that's why I'm like, okay, there has to be some reflective, like double reflection going on that's making this work. Because otherwise, you could use any mirror.
Yeah, it definitely should at least have like the description of like a kaleidoscopic or like a refracting like angles, like more detailed of that, so to properly illustrate what the mirror is.
So let me read this to you.
Okay.
Kiki laughed scornfully. Ha! I didn't use any magic to get this book working. Now, watch carefully. Then she moved the mirror over the next page. The lush jungle scene was soon replaced by a stark landscape of dunes and rocky outcrops. Presto! Exclaimed Kiki. Anamorphous at work. Tulagak looked confused. Anna what? Kiki explained patiently, as if to a slow-witted child. It's an image that's distorted so that it can only be viewed from a certain angle, or, in this case, by a chimney-shaped mirror. So, it's literally just a mirror, and I don't see any magic, aside from the book's own magic. I'm also going to Google anamorphous right now.
I should have actually looked that up.
A distorted projection or drawing which appears normal when viewed from a particular point or with a suitable mirror or lens. So it's kind of like the sidewalk drawing stuff. Or magic eye stuff, maybe, yeah.
So I'm going to continue on with it is a magic trick in that it is a sleight of hand or like smoke and mirrors, literally. But I will also concede that I misinterpreted the mirror.
Yes.
I was not wrong, but I was definitely wrong.
Great. Love it. Like here, let me post a example of it.
You know when we were talking about like the story like beating a dead horse? I think we're now beating a dead horse.
A little bit. This picture here, if you Google it, those at home, Google anamorphous. It's like the second image. It's like an eye that's like in a spherical mirror, but in front of it there's a semicircle of a like squished, smooshed out eye image. But because the mirror is spherical, it takes it and makes it look like a normal eye.
Just say a mirrored tube.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Mirrored tube would be great.
That's all. Like that would have fixed all this because like the image you're showing. Yeah, no, that's exactly like probably what the spells look like, super weirdly distorted like that, and then like but with the mirrored tube, because depending on the angle, it would reveal like the actual like the actual story. Oh my god!
Here's another one where it's done with a painting, and it's literally just a metal tube, like a hollow tube, but it's shiny and it picks it up and shows you the painting.
Yeah, no, So
I think that's the chimney. I think.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. That's definitely got to be it. Yeah. Wow, we went on a tirade there. we
figured it out. Sorry, I figured it out.
Gamer is the best.
I'm a genius.
Yes, you are.
Thanks.
All right, I will move on to the next thing I have.
Okay.
Where was I?
I couldn't tell you. I'm not that smart.
Okay, yeah, no, the part here, yeah. So we're on the fucking like the glass bin stuff. So yeah, Kiki like drops disposes of the spell book and the mirrored tube in the glass bin. That takes care of the bad magic. Somewhat relieved, she hurried back and crawled into bed. But now Tulagak was snoring like a lummox in a mud pool. Boy, I really hope there was some relevancy to this event and characters that we just got like mentioned and brought in.
Mm-hmm.
It sort of just comes out of the blue for me. Like, just more characters to add onto the list. Hey there, gamer.
Yeah, you want to know what my list is at right now? I counted it. 47 characters right now. And I didn't even start counting until like after our first recording. So there's probably some in the first few chapters I don't have written down.
Oh my god. Yeah,
that's including like all of Grandma Esme's cats and shit like that, but still they're all named.
Yeah, and later on we do get like Tulagak does like it's revealed that she does like sneak out after Kiki goes to sleep and everything. And goes down and gets the book and basically starts reading through it and looking for a spell. So there is the story is starting to build up that into some relevancy. I hope we just haven't gotten to those chapters yet.
What's probably going to happen is that book and Tulagak messing around with it is going to release the Red Prince, and the Red Prince is going to go about his day and probably take the child and then go find and stumble across Lolly and possess her, and then that's how she got possessed, probably.
Or Tulagak might end up helping Cass and Ellery and maybe even Lolly to a degree by finding something that ends up like thwarting the Rose Prince. Who knows? Like maybe like this is like the start of like we're introducing this now so that later on this will be like the what is that guy's name? And his guns. Chandler's gun. Like Chandler's gun. Like basically, if you introduce
Chekhov's
a gun. Chekhov's gun, yes.
Chandler, isn't he from like Friends or something?
No, there's an author named Chandler, something Chandler.
Oh, okay.
I think that basically like but I was thinking Chekhov's gun. Like if you introduce a gun in Act 1, you better bring that gun back in Act 3.
Yeah, it will be fired by Act 3. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I was thinking of because like there's a noir author who's like I was actually thinking of a completely different thing. My bad.
Okay.
But Chekhov's gun is what I was thinking of. Is the actual thing I was thinking of. So moving on. Holy shit.
We're gonna get through this, I swear.
Chapter 8 has a lot of stuff.
Great.
No, I'm saying like it had a lot of stuff. That's why this is taking so
long. Oh yes.
Where am I?
You don't mark yours off?
No, I not yet. Moving on to the next thing. Oh god, future me, I'm so sorry. This is worse than last week.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good to see you too, she replied. Just wish it was under different circumstances. Huh? I said, utterly mystified. What are you talking about? What is this place? One of the in-between places. Places between Earth and the other world. You mean like fairy? I asked. Lyra shrugged. or Hades. Who knows for sure? A worried look crossed her freckled face. Ah, so this is like a metaplane in Shadowrun. Sorry, Mikey. Or perhaps like the Never Never in Dresden. Sorry, game.
Yeah. Hey, that's a first.
Yeah. Regardless, like, so this is like I do like there are these like kind of like thresholds, or like, again, we're playing with like liminal spaces or like thresholds between worlds and stuff like that. That we've read before in M. Pratt's stories and stuff. And I am starting to kind of get an idea of how the cosmology works a little bit in like little ways. So I am liking that, like, again, like apparently you can spirits can like communicate with the living through these like dream spaces that are between worlds. But then the next thing I have here is Lyra. I said, keeping one eye on the slowly approaching menace. You still haven't told me the reason why. Oh yeah, we kind of brought this up of like why Lolly is hiding the Ouija board in the first place. And it said that she's jealous because unlike basically she's jealous because she can't do art as well as Lyra or Ellery. And so we do find, so we now finally get a reason why Lolly needs to be punished, at least from Ellery's perspective. Because she is actually trying to purposefully harm Ellery and others. Like, it's not just like accidental. It's like she's straight up cursing them with by planting a Ouija board that if you touch it, like you summon some demon monster. Honestly, pretty extreme for something so petty. Like, but that is what obsession does to you sometimes. Like, you over escalate when you're obsessed and such. So again, doesn't make her like any less a villain, but it does make her sympathetic.
It also wasn't even her actual form there. It sounded like her spirit was there.
Yeah, she got what magic she got from her patron, I'm guessing. Because it is revealed that she was like, because like earlier it's asked like, oh, what is she, like a witch, a demon, blah, blah. It's like, worse, she's a fool. She's a fool that's made a deal with something dangerous, and she's getting like a little bit for like a chunk of her soul.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, like, because it's not her physical form, for all we know, it's just that deity taking on the appearance of Lolly and doing this.
Yeah, but it could be interpreted that way, and it's the creature or the deity basically doing this action for something that that Lolly desires, because like Lolly, but it's like twisting it or like making it like going to the extreme as well. I think it's more or less like basically Lolly is planting these things unaware of just how grave the circumstances are going to be, or like how grave the consequences are going to be.
Because yeah, it could literally just be Lolly like tells the creature, it's like, I want to be able to draw better than Ellery. And then the creature's like, okay, well then I'll make sure Ellery can't draw anymore.
Oh my god, you know what's sad and funny? That is basically a monster friend from Monster and the Childish Things too. That's not even just like a Warlock pact thing. That's like, because a monster friend in Monster of the Childish Things loves their kid and wants to help them in any way they can, but they don't understand mundane human things. So
yeah, it's an I'm helping situation.
Exactly. Like, it's like, oh man, like my teacher was so mean to me today. Like she gave me an F, and then like the monster goes and like just eats the teacher's car, or worse, with her in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like that's how it thinks it's helping, by like, oh, I'll just punish the teacher. It's being mean to my friend. So like that's kind of what's going. And again, we have to also put in place these kids. These are kids. These are tweens. They are dealing with hormones. They're dealing with like they don't know like the ways of the world particularly well yet. So like they are dabbling in things they really shouldn't. Hell, they're dabbling in things adults generally shouldn't be dabbling with.
Yes. So
it's even worse when it's from them. So again, it adds on to like, do I still think like Lolly is I don't think Lolly may not necessarily be redeemable, but I definitely understand like where she's coming from in terms of like as a tragic character. Because like she was being tormented and like ridiculed at school. She had this delusion or like this obsession and possibly even a mental illness that like made her feel this way of like wanting to live in a fantasy rather than like her mundane, boring life. She has access to magic because their world has magical beings that crisscross through reality and like in the everyday. So I'm sure that does not help people in this world in that situation.
You can just go to the magic fair and just pick up a book.
Yeah, and just make just try and fix something the easy way. Yeah. But yeah, so like she's a villain in the story, and we now get like a reason why she's doing things and why like Ellery wants her to be like cursed and all that stuff. We're finally seeing this dynamic between like the conflict here. And it is from Ellery's, like you can kind of understand Ellery's point of view a little bit more now because like a bunch of people have been injured or died that were her friends. And she was even like almost cursed by Lolly's actions. However, we're also getting Lolly's point of view and we're seeing, at least for us, like as our us three readers are sympathizing a little bit with Lolly's situation because of like we can kind of like relate in a way with her like being ridiculed and stuff at school and all that. But she is still being villainous in her actions.
Mm-hmm.
All this to say, again, like this story is actually getting us to the meat and potatoes of the conflict between like why Ellery wanted to curse Lolly in the first place, the beginning of the story.
Yep.
8 chapters in.
I feel like this should be in chapter 2, you know?
I mean, you know what? We've mentioned, I think we mentioned like either last week or the week before, we have commented in the past that a story, like when it comes to a story, like don't rush it. Like you have all the time in the you have all the words in the world. Write your story to give us like all the details we need to like tell your compelling story. Don't always rush it because a lot of times creepypastas are too short for their own good. This may or may not be too long for its own good, but also like this story's being thorough.
Well, to my point
So
that I
far.
brought up when I said like this could have been a chapter 2, I don't mean this entire thing. I just mean Ellery saying like the reason I want her curse is she tried to kill me.
Yeah,
Like leave it as vague as that because it could be anything. And then okay, we know that there is going to be an attempted murder at some point that she's causing. So okay, let's see this unfold. But we have nothing until it shows up at 8.
Actually, to your point, we do kind of have some conflicting here because early on in like the first chapter, we are told that like Lolly is a psychic vampire, like she drains people, and we thought that maybe that's like what her supernatural ability is. But I think honestly that might have just been like Ellery saying that like she saps the light out of everything around her because of her like nerdness, her weebness.
Yeah,
not necessarily that she's actually supernaturally psychically draining people. She might. It's just like sort of like that person's just too much.
Yeah. She's a lot.
Yeah. It's just Lolly's a lot.
She's a lottie.
But now we're actually getting like the meat and potatoes of it. Yeah, we definitely could have seen a little bit earlier. I think that's more of a matter of pacing in the story, or like kind of adding a little bit more, like telling us a little bit more early on rather than like having us wait 8 chapters to finally get like the story. Because like literally there's a moment where in my notes where it's like what is she, a witch, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, for a moment before we actually get the reveal as to what she is, like kind of like before Lyra actually explains that like she's a fool that's been dabbling and stuff, my initial reaction to like to Ellery talking that was like, quit being so goddamn vague. Tell us what she is, Lyra. God damn it. Because like they kept saying, like, what is she? Like a demon, a witch, a tentacled monster, a space alien? And then I was just like, yeah, tell us, Lyra. Tell us no.
It's privileged information. We can't have it yet.
Yeah, clearly, yeah. We're not. Yeah, what is it? Compartmentalized information. Like need to know.
Yep. We need a class 3 clearance to know that information.
Yeah, exactly.
This is an SCP all of a sudden.
Suddenly, yeah. Also, we get another in this part with the she's jealous and Without her precious Microsoft Paint and tracing paper to help her, she can't draw with smudge. First off, we get a new swear word, smudge, because that's mentioned multiple times through the story.
Indeed.
It's split for shit.
Also,
again, like to I think you're about to say. Go on.
oh, I don't think it's going to be what you think at all. How does Microsoft Paint make you draw better? It's hard to draw in Microsoft Paint doing like pixel art. That shit's hard.
I think it's sort of like that's more of like the Microsoft Paint was used as a description of like bad drawing, perhaps.
No, we're saying without her precious Microsoft Paint, like she needs Microsoft Paint to draw.
Yeah, if anything,
just like she needs tracing paper to draw.
Yeah, like if anything, it should be Photoshop, not Microsoft Paint. And like tracing paper makes sense because you have to like trace over like outlines and stuff, right? So
yeah. So I think it should just be left at tracing paper. But regardless, that's probably not what you were talking about at all.
Well, honestly, my thing was like further kind of like again bashing of Lolly's character, but then again, like these two characters in the story, they don't like Lolly, so they are honestly Ellery and like character again, like this. To your point earlier, again, the story just like everyone around Lolly is kind of a bully.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just straight up a bully, I think it's because of how much we keep getting beaten with the words of like, oh, Ellery is a disgusting weeb, and she like everyone around her is disgusted by her. And it's like maybe Lolly isn't the problem here. Like initially, maybe it's society. Maybe these people suck.
I mean, it's
But yeah, just like maybe she wouldn't have turned out this way if people weren't such assholes. Saying.
People just accept her. It's like, sure, if she wants to dress up all the time, whatever. It's no skin off my back.
Maybe just like be a little bit more
shower.
Maybe be a little bit more like positive or like kind of like try and like nicely reinforce. Like maybe you should clean up a little bit. Like maybe you should have a shower more than once a week.
Mm-hmm.
Just stuff like that. Like like maybe she turned out this way because people around her were being shitty to her. So
yeah.
Just say it. Again, doesn't make what she did like to try and curse people like right, but it does make her we now understand her character a bit more on that.
Yeah.
Level. Moving on to the last thing I have for chapter 8, I swear.
I don't believe it.
How do you know all this? Yeah, how do you know all this, gamer? No. How do you know all this? Lyra shrugged. I read about it on Creepypasta and Scary for Kids. It's a pretty popular urban legend. Okay, so the Rose, and this is in regards to like the Rose Prince and stuff. I checked. The Rose Prince is not a creepypasta. However, would be a good opportunity to make another creepypasta story and try to spread it out online about the Rose Prince.
Like from a different account.
Yeah, from a different account, or even like from the same person. Just like but then just like spread it on like creepypasta.wiki.com, Scary for Kids, Reddit.creepypasta/creepypasta, all that stuff, just to give the story more credence about like this situation of the Rose Prince, and even a prop in fiction, in reality. Because like I would have.
Go ahead.
Just because, like, I would have loved to have read, like, if there was actually a creepypasta about the Rose Prince that, like, this was, like, talking about, like, this was referencing. I would have loved to have read that story and had it on our episode, or had an episode for it.
Yeah, for sure. But what I find weird about this whole part is, like, she is giving Ellery vital information to save her life, and this information was found on creepypasta.com. Like, like I don't know, man. I don't know how trustworthy that information is.
No, yeah, but like when you're talking about that kind of stuff, like with urban legends and stuff like that, like when you're it's like the same thing as like, oh, like, again, if I was to run a game scenario where like you guys were dealing with like, some urban legend, I'm trying to think of like one that's not just a creepypasta. Surprisingly hard for me right now. Like the raid, the sled, no,
they're all kind of the same thing. But what I'm getting at,
or like Bloody Mary, like how are you going to figure out about like if you guys are having to deal with like a situation where like, oh shit, Bloody Mary's real. Well, there's only these urban legends, these like the urban legend of Bloody Mary. How do we like? So you have to like do some research on that. So you're gonna go into websites or like look up books on urban legends, not like factual books necessarily.
But also
Same.
in this universe, actual magic and actual demons are real.
Yeah.
So there would be actual factual information on these demons, like in the library.
Or maybe not. Maybe maybe some of these creatures
Okay.
are that these characters are dealing with are the things of creepypasta and urban legends. And so yeah, like it turns out because in this world, like with magic living among mortals and stuff like that, some creepypastas are actually real.
Through
Okay.
belief magic. It's orc
Yeah,
magic.
exactly, yeah.
Counterpoint: kids have access to magic grimoires in this universe.
Okay, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. That's yeah.
That whole entry just messed with a lot of things, didn't it?
I mean, I still love this idea because, like, again, I love like it's a creepypasta within a creepypasta, or it's a creepypasta that's referencing creepypasta.com or .wiki or Scary for Kids.
I've never heard of that one.
We've covered. I think we've used it once or twice as a source for like a fairly obtuse creepypasta, or like that was like bordering on an urban legend.
Mm.
But yeah, like I both agree and disagree because yeah, grimoires, yeah, they have access to like basically like they might actually have access to like literal monster manuals.
Yep.
But also like they are also kids that have access to the internet, so maybe they do also just source their information from creepypasta wiki because in this world it's real.
That's another way to look at it too. Yeah.
Yeah, because like
Our
again,
creepypasta wiki is not the same as theirs.
and like to reiterate, in our world, creepypasta is fiction. But in the world of this fictional thing, creepypasta wiki might be a reliable source.
That's true. You know what? You're right.
Or maybe creepypasta wiki is actually just their Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, yeah, creepypasta Wikipedia, yeah. Creepypedia. My God. But yeah, that's all I've got for chapter 8. So Mikey, what do you got?
All right. Well, Cultist mentioned this, that it's nice that we get a magical book, but it'd be nice to know how this is going to go into the story.
Yeah.
But so right now it's just interesting.
Yeah, it's just a side note or a tangent.
Mm-hmm.
But it's there. It has to be there for a reason.
I really do.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, I keep saying like obviously, but like I don't know.
I don't know if that's obvious anymore.
I mean, I hope it is.
Mhm.
Clearly, like obviously, but like, yeah. It's got to mean something, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's got to come back around, right?
Yep. And then my next actual thought here is that it's interesting that we get the Ouija board warning in a cemetery dream, but we don't get any closure as to whether or not she finds the Ouija board and disposes of it.
Yep, I'm going to go into that when it's my turn. But yes, you
Perhaps
think that you would.
We haven't gotten that part of her narrative yet.
Yeah, the story's not done.
Yeah, her story's not done. She's still at this campfire telling like demon like adolescent Hell Knight goth like guy, Gorgon girl, cat lady, a bunch of other like creatures and beings of myth and legend about this long-winded revenge story. And I mean that in the nicest way. Like, I don't mean that, but like, because like, again, like this is a long story, but like this is a very long-winded campfire tale.
Yeah, I'm surprised Ellery isn't a writer, not an artist.
Yeah.
Well, you could argue that writing is art. So
I mean, yeah, it is sometimes, it is often an art.
Yes, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, that's all I have for chapter 8.
All right. Gamer.
Okay. I have this here. Today had been a most peculiar day. I couldn't help but think about the strange events that had happened. I even jotted down the events, describing the facts in perfect order. This is Ellery saying this.
Yeah.
So that partially explains how Ellery can recite the events so perfectly. Like, she literally wrote down everything that happened that day. And apparently all this shit happened in one day so far?
Yeah, like a week ago or whatever, because like
Yeah.
yeah.
Still, it's a lot of info and dialogue to remember for however long it's been. But
Yeah.
I appreciate the reasoning, regardless of saying like, oh no, I wrote it down. That's how I know. I'm not just going off my memory.
Yeah.
I kind of wish that at the campfire she like pulled out a notebook and literally just started reading it, because it would be I'd be able to buy it more that all the wordage is so like specific and not just like this person said basically this, not this person said exactly this, which is how it comes off. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the next one, this is talking about the Locker 490 stuff again. Then later at lunch, 9 people who were using the same row of lockers that included Locker 490 suddenly came down with acute appendicitis. Everyone in that group, except for that weeaboo, was affected. Why was she spared? So
Weird.
I thought Lolly's locker was down further. Like, it wasn't it? Hang on. I thought Lolly's locker was down further. It wasn't like the entire block of lockers that was affected, but her, was it? But like, regardless, even if she was at the end of the block, it's possible that like the effect just went out and stopped before her. But it would be a lot clearer if the illness like skipped over her locker and got the person next to her. Then it's a lot clearer. But we never got a clear description of where she is in regards to 490.
Yeah, honestly, like I know the story should honestly just like go ahead and just say like, or like either to maybe make things clear, the story really could have just gone in like, oh, she was at locker 490. Like, it might make things a little bit more clear on like how she acquired like power and stuff like that, or how she like made contact with something supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hell, maybe that's where she met Ruby Rose, was inside of her locker.
Maybe, yeah.
But yeah, no, it definitely seems like it's trying to paint a vaguer, like a slightly clear but still vague picture that like Lolly's behind the whole like appendicitis, that whole situation with the lockers. But because like, oh, like only she was like spared, that's kind of weird, wink wink. But it's being really vague about it, like even more so still. So
yeah, at first I thought her locker was like across from 490, but I may have been misremembering that. I think she might be like down from it, and she said like, I hope it doesn't get down to me.
Yeah, I think she did say that, because like across from locker 490 is the library. So
yes, so because she said I hope it like doesn't spread and get down to me, that makes it seem like it expanded out from 490 and stopped before her locker. Maybe it stopped at her locker. That is still somewhat suspicious, but it would be worse if it actually skipped over her.
Yeah, for sure.
Then I have one more. It's long. You're just gonna have to deal with it.
No, dude, I have read long stuff all episode. You are not you are in the clear.
Okay, because what I'm gonna do is paraphrase the dream warning. Okay.
Okay.
So basically, this is how the dream warning goes. Lyra warns Ellery that Lolly is in her house right now. Ellery would like to know more. Lyra says it's her spirit that's there, not her body. Ellery would like to know more. Lyra says she's a fool, but she's clever. Ellery would like to know more. Lyra says she's planting something. Ellery would like to know more. Lyra says it's a Ouija board. Ellery would like to know more. Lyra is rushed to leave, but says to just get rid of it. Ellery would like to know more. Lyra says it's cursed. Ellery would like to know more. Lyra says that it was stolen from the Feylands, maybe the black market. Ellery would like to know more. Lyra says it exists. If you know the right people and you have the cash, just find the board before Lolly activates it and invites him in. Ellery would like to know more. Lyra says it's the Rose Prince. He's the youngest of 9 sons of demons, the most dangerous one. Ellery would like to know more about the man stalking Lyra right now in the dream. Lyra says it's a Shinigami. It's friend. Ellery would like to know more about Lolly in her house again. Lyra says that she's there because she's jealous because she can't draw. Really? Lyra says that if Ellery touches the board with her bare hands, she will want to use it. Ellery would like to know more. Lyra read about it on Creepypasta.com. Then Ellery tells her the 3 ways to get rid of it. After all this, Ellery wakes up, spots Lolly in her room, then proceeds to not look for the Ouija board. Great. So, the reason I brought that up the way I did repeatedly is because that's how it felt reading it. Like, Lyra shows up in Ellery's dream like, Ellery, careful! Lolly's in your room right now. She can do something bad. What's she going to do? She's going to do this. Why would she do that? Because she has this. Where'd she get that? From this. That's a thing? Yeah, it's a thing. Who's that? I don't know. Like, it's a joke.
Don't worry, he's friend-shaped.
Yeah, exactly. Like, but it goes on and on. Meanwhile, this whole thing is meant to be like, quick, wake the fuck up and go save yourself.
Yeah. It is kind of an awkward dialogue.
And like the important information is thrown in at the end, where it's just like, oh yeah, don't touch it with your bare hands, by the way, because she could have like woken up from the dream at any point and just woke up, punched Lolly in the face, and touched the Ouija board and been fucked. But God, I hated reading that part. It really bugged me.
I definitely, like, especially with the Shinigami, which, by the way, Shinigami is basically like a death spirit. Like they take the in Japanese mythology, they're the psychopomps. They're the ones that like take the souls of the dead and move them on to the next life.
Okay,
that's what a Shinigami is basically. And even like the black birds that like swarming around, like that's basically like. Lyra didn't have much time, but she had enough time apparently to do like 20 questions.
Yeah, apparently
before being ferried away to the afterlife.
Mm-hmm. So did she die? Like, who is this character?
That's like, so before we got to this part, and like a chapter ago, Ellery said that she got the information about like what was going on from a dead person. Like directly from a dead friend. That's Lyra. Lyra was dead the whole time. Like the Shinigami thing. Like, I mean, it's not explicitly like directly said in this chapter, unfortunately. But like through hints and stuff of that and clues in the story, like in that writing, I got like right off the hop that it was Lyra's the dead girl.
Yes, but we didn't see the deadness happen. Like how she died.
She isn't described as like being like looking dead, or like she doesn't even say that like, oh, I'm dead now. I'm dead now, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
While he's in your room, find the Ouija board. Do it now.
Yeah, because it could, coming from playing Shadowrun. Sorry, Mikey. I thought she could have been like astrally projecting or something to like contact her in her dreams to wake her up because she doesn't have a phone. I don't know. It could have been anything, but yeah, it was like, is her death like related to Lolly or completely unrelated?
We don't know yet.
Because like, who died in the story so far from her friend group? No one.
Well, so here's the thing, like. She kind of alludes that like some of her friends are either like severely injured or possibly dead. And then we get this part where like Ellery is like, oh, like I got the information, like somebody did die out of that group of people that was that would suffer from the appendicitis. I know because I talked to them. Blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
Dun, dun,
So
dun.
she's the one that died from the appendicitis.
Yeah. So, but like honestly, before we found out that like that Shinigami was a red herring, because I thought for sure that was like the Gray Man from the Gray Man story, because like the story was talking about Ouija board, like she's like Lolly's cursing Ellery with a Ouija board, and that's how they summoned the Gray Man in the Gray Man story that we read a couple months ago. Mm-hmm. And that's also in Hogarth's Bay, or sorry, Hogarth's Gap, which might be Hogan's Gap or might be Hogan's Bay.
Who knows?
Yeah. So I was like, oh, like maybe that's like, maybe Lyra hasn't died yet, but she's like sending a warning to Ellery before she gets grabbed by the Gray Man. And then it's like, nope, she's already dead. That's a Shinigami. Don't worry about it. He's friend shaped.
Yep.
So yeah, it's just like, well, thanks for subverting my expectations on the situation here. Because I thought that was a threat, but no, it's just it's basically the ferryman come to take Lyra's soul away.
Yeah, the bus is showing up.
Exactly. Yeah, it's the spirit bus driver. It's the soul train.
Magic school bus driver.
Yeah. The magic soul bus.
Nice.
But yeah, so yeah, it's a bit long-winded. It's a bit kind of kind of clunky and awkward of like just exposition dumping a bunch of information, and then yeah, she gets too frightened by the person by the thing she was warned about in her room. She has a flashlight and a hockey stick, and she just like spends the rest of the night cowering in the middle of her room.
Yeah, she went into a fugue state.
Yeah, I guess yeah, maybe she woke up like encountered that like the slimy hand thing on her desk or something like that, or in the dark, freaked out, rolled a sand check, failed, chose fugue rather than flight or fight. So
because at that point she hasn't seen anything supernatural, right?
I guess not.
No,
it's been pretty mundane. I mean, there's been some like weird things that people have mentioned, but otherwise it's been relatively mundane. The weirdest thing, actually, I guess as a primer for this, is she woke up in her bed after the dream, not in the pajamas she went to sleep in, but in the clothes she was in the dream. I assumed.
Yeah, she took that quite well.
And she even had some of the grit or dust or dirt and so that from the dream in her bed too with her. So
yes.
But so first of all, it's a dream that something actually physically manifests outside of the dream. Huzzah! It wasn't just a useless dream, like a dream thing in the story. But also, then she becomes completely useless. I guess until we find out more on this story that she's telling people.
Yes,
because I assume we're going to get more about what happened after she went into a fugue state.
She gets killed, obviously.
Clearly, yeah. She's not
the one telling the story or nothing.
Yeah, she just like, and I was dead this whole time, and she just like vanishes out of the hoodie.
Yeah.
But is that all you've got for chapter 8?
Yes.
Okay. Chapter 9. My notes for chapter 9 have 2 things in chapter 9. That's it. So it's going to be fairly short.
I'll be shorter. I guarantee it.
Probably. If this was Fairy, she thought. So this is I guess Lolly survived the trial, I guess, and made it to Fairy.
Yes.
Which is kind of explained, but like she had that trinket, so like even the things that were like haunting her, and so that kind of like couldn't do anything to her. So she was safe as long as she held that trinket. But if this was Fairy, she thought, wrinkling up her nose in disgust, it must be the frickin' slums. And there's even more about like early on, like it's like she's like discussing like this isn't the glitz and glamour of the fairy realm she thought she was going to get. This is like more like just a medieval slum. I was like, oh, what's the matter? Expectation not syncing up with reality? I was just like, yeah, no, like what, like maybe you should have like read up a little bit more on the actual fairy worlds rather than reading your
animus.
Your animus and your fictional stuff. Especially since apparently you've been reading books of the occult, like actual books of the occult to like do stuff. So, but again, to her credit, she is still in like kind of a delusional state. So like this might have just been like the awake. This almost like seems like it might be a wake up call for her a little bit.
Yep.
So,
but she's probably stuck there.
Yeah. And then we come to the Rose Prince. So we had been told in the previous chapter, like with like from Lyra, like the Rose Prince is like he's not the Gray Man, he's worse. He's the son of the Gray Man, like the 9th son, in fact, and like he's even worse than the Gray Man. Super cool, like kind of like hyping him up and stuff like that. And then we get this. Damn all his older brothers, thrice times over, especially that know-it-all Zrith, for getting him interested in these exquisite Gerdine beauties, and then suddenly forbidding him from interfering or even holding hands with. They ruined the Rose Prince.
I mean, yeah, because he seemed like he was super dangerous, and now it's just like he just has a thing for Gardine girls, and that's it.
He seemed so cool last chapter, like his his reputation, and then they made him like this pervy, half human, half demon brat.
Yeah,
and That's the best case scenario because he could be like if he might be like in demon time in demon age, he might just be like a bratty child. But it is also said that he's like like hundreds or thousands of years old, so he's just like a pervy human, like creeping on like girding girls.
And granted, like that is a form of danger, absolutely, because he is dangerous.
But like here, I was thinking he was going to be some super cool, creepy new boogeyman, like the Slender Man or like whatever. But no, he sounds more like a delinquent teen crushing on some exchange student.
Yeah,
Sparkle vampire.
Like, a what?
Or a sparkle vampire?
Yeah, exactly. He's a fucking sparkly vampire, not a cool like Grim Reaper type character, or like a 28 days, 28 not 28 days. What's the one?
it's days, weeks, or years, dude.
What? No. I'm not talking about the 20 days later. I'm talking about the vampire one in Alaska. Fuck, I have it to hang on. Alaska vampire movie. He's a sparkly vampire, not a 30 Days of Night vampire.
Oh, I
which
see.
Is like cool and brutal, and like they don't just like two fangs into your throat. No, they rip your throat out and guzzle your blood from the gore.
Nice.
Like, that's the kind of cool, like creepy monster I was expecting for the Rose Prince. Not sparkly vampire like crushing on Bella. Also, again, like this is like from earlier because like this is around the time I was like, is Ruby Rose and the Rose Prince? Like, because earlier on, Ruby Rose loses Lolly in the crowd and even in the elven slums, then like disappears. Did they perhaps? Yeah, I think we brought this up earlier. Like, did they perhaps circle back around and go back to the mortal realm to creep on Kess? And then when he got like bitch slapped by Megara, slunk back to the Fey realms to like to become Ruby Rose for Lolly is how? And again, like this is where I got my line. Is like, have we ever seen Ruby Rose and the Rose Prince in the same room?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I got. It's just like I do kind of hope that Ruby Rose and Rose Prince are going to be revealed as the same thing.
Yes.
It's just such a if it's a red herring, like well done, Emma Pratt.
Mm-hmm.
But like also
It's a ruby herring.
It's too perfect to like the way like one character's name is Ruby Rose, and then the actual like monster that's manipulating Lolly is the Rose Prince.
Mm-hmm.
So it's too perfect.
It really is.
So I will be surprised. I will be not flabbergasted, but I will be surprised if Ruby Rose does not turn out to be the Rose Prince in disguise.
Likewise.
Yeah. But I guess we'll have to find out and see as we continue on with the chapter. So that's all I got for chapter 9. Mikey, these stands for evil.
Okay, so I also like that the fairy world isn't all sunshine and rainbows.
Mm-hmm.
Lolly was expecting.
Mm-hmm.
And
oh no, sorry, quick side because you said that sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. Is that why she's named Lolly? No, sorry. Sorry, no, I don't think that's actually the case, but I just like you saying that. I was like, wait. my pattern seeking brain was just like, wait, hang on, filling in gap.
Auto correcting.
Yeah, please continue. Save us from ourselves.
Alright. And then I liked that the Rose Prince was a seen and unseen threat to the people at the campfire.
Yeah.
Because like the one character sees it, but then the others don't.
Well, yeah, because and Megara definitely has some juice behind her. Like she's got some kind of like supernatural abilities. I mean, she's a Gorgon. Like her hair transforms into like snake heads. So
that can apparently get over here, attack kind of deal.
yeah,
long range.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's like how vipers attack and like how cobras attack is they strike like that. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nike.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, okay. All right, then Gamer.
No, I got nothing left. I actually didn't write down any notes. It's a pretty short chapter, honestly.
Yeah, it was I think for me, when I was like reading it through my the Google Doc and stuff, I think it was only chalked in at like 3 pages. So yeah, it was basically the tail end of the last of the 3 chapters, is like the tail end of it. So but yeah, I guess we'll move on to final thoughts. So again, not like actually recommending specifically, but it was getting a bit convoluted with the introduction of yet another plot line with Kiki and Tulagak.
We need more characters.
Yeah. Do we? 40 plus?
47 is what I counted.
47 and counting.
Yeah.
And then and their whole like grimoire dabbling and stuff like that. And then the Rose Prince's actions and mannerism at the end of the last chapter kind of dampened his cool creepiness for me as like a villainous boogeyman and like possible like warlock-esque patron for Lolly. But I'm still willing to see where this goes, but the path is starting to get wild in the weeds for me. Like, it's starting, the length of the story is starting to take its toll as it meanders. And we're getting a few more questions, and like some of the ground's a bit shaky. But I mean, obviously we're going to still read the rest of the story to find out where it's going. But my current like thoughts on like a recommendation are indecisive as of right now. So, Mikey, these stands for evil.
All right. Well, let's. So the things I liked is that we get some things that are adding mystery.
Yes.
Like the magic book that we don't know how it's going to fit in. And the new threat of the Rose Prince, because I mean,
or the reveal of the Rose Prince being like behind the scenes the whole time.
Yeah. So, basically, these chapters didn't annoy me as much as the previous chapters. So, if I were to give the overall a recommendation at this point, it's for me sitting at a low partial.
All right.
If I recall, last week it was sitting at a non-recommendation.
Yeah, it had dropped a couple of ranks.
Yeah. So.
All right, fair enough. And Gamer, any final thoughts?
Well, for me, these few chapters were like getting a little bit more frustrating to get through. Like I said before, there's so much here, and yet there's not enough here, because like a lot of it kind of just feels like padding to draw out the word count. Like the dream sequence with Lyra and Ellery is a good example. Because it was basically like, oh, I'm pressed for time. Good. Sit down and let me tell you a story, like for vital information.
Yeah.
It takes forever to get through.
Stay a while and let us play 20 questions.
Yeah, pretty much. That being said, like now that I got the rant out of me about like me being super annoyed at the repetitive nature of every new character like shitting on Lolly, I'm probably going to not be annoyed as much about it anymore in the future, because it will keep happening. Absolutely. Every new character that sees Lolly will comment at length about Lolly. But it's like whatever anymore. Like whatever. I don't care anymore.
Didn't do it.
I actually am, yeah. But yeah, I'm curious where this is going to go. I'm also very like confused about the whole the book that we don't know that has any direction yet. But again, we haven't finished reading the story, so I can't judge it. But yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes, and I hope it makes everything worth it and ties up all the loose ends that are sitting there blown in the breeze right now.
Yeah, hope this pans out.
Yeah, at least we're starting to actually understand why the curses wanting to be put on Lolly.
Yeah, like why is she a villain? Why is Ellery like here in the first place? Why is she doing this? We finally have that answer.
Mhm.
And we finally have a reason why Lolly is a villain, other than just people around her are just kind of like not bigots, but like they're just kind of like cruel about
They're not like accepting of her.
yeah, they're not accepting. So like they're just like, oh, they're like she's annoying, so we're gonna be like cruel to her.
Mhm.
Like clearly she's the bad one, but like
Yeah.
we actually have a reason. We have a reason for Lolly to be presented as a villain and not just a victim of the world around her. So,
Mhm.
and I
That's
mean,
if she had full control. Sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, you're right. Yeah, you go.
That's if she had full control over her actions doing the sneaky Ouija board stuff. Because if she was just being puppeted by the Red Prince, then maybe it's not her fault. But when we get back to her after this, I'm sure we'll see her saying either like "What happened?" or "Damn it, I missed." You know, like so we'll see whether her intentions were true or not.
Also, I do hope I don't need it, obviously, but I do hope that like we get sort of a final note on Pocky the pug, just getting a good life among those newsboys.
Yeah.
Like I hope he's just like that little guy's just like pampered,
Absolutely.
and, taken care of by like because they even like say like he was dognapped by sympathetic dog nappers, but like
Yeah. I didn't know there were such a thing as sympathetic dog nappers.
sympathetic street urchins. But it's
Mm.
like like they like hopefully they didn't just like they didn't just take him for like and like he's gonna meet a worse end, but like hopefully he does have a happy ending.
Yes.
But
Absolutely.
that's just my dog friend sort of like mentality going in. So but yeah, that we'll just have to keep reading the chapters and see.
We're getting there.
Yeah, I think we have let's see what we got here on the
We're at 9 out of 14.
So we've
So
got
2 more episodes.
Yeah, 10 to 12, and then 13 and 14 will be the last two that we cover. So
Okay.
So yeah, we got 2 more, and then yeah, we'll finish off October with the rest of the Visitor from Curtisville. So that was this week's episode. If you like what you heard, leave us a comment in the comment section below. This gets posted.
By the way, I'm gonna interrupt your outro.
Sure.
Have we ever addressed the image?
Oh, you mean the image at the very top of the
Yeah.
It's like a forest with like a river nearby, and like there's a bunch of shadowy figures like walking in front of a moonlit sky.
Yeah.
No, we haven't.
Okay, good. It's good to bring it up now because there was shadowy creatures in the last one.
You know what? It is actually making a lot more sense now.
Yeah.
Like they are like
it was there.
Yeah. I also just like until you brought it up, I was like, oh no, that's actually probably like that's the river that like where the bridge is, and like they're just like they're walking, and those are the shadowy things that are following Lolly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I just like that. That's now just clued in. Actually, I kind of like it because like it doesn't give a lot away until you read deeper into the story.
Yeah.
And by that point, like unless you're going up to the top to check out the chapter like contents, like the table of contents for the chapters, like you don't realize it's there again. So yeah, there we covered it. And yeah, that's it for tonight. If you like what you heard or if you didn't, leave us a comment in the comment section below wherever this gets posted. Some of us are on Blue Sky. Mikey is at the E Stands for Evil, and I'm at Review Cultist. You can also send us emails at aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. That's ALDENTERIGAMORTIS@gmail.com. Or you can also leave us suggestions for other creepypastas, SCPs, spooky things. You creep it, we'll peep it. Yeah. And if you'd like to help support our show financially, you can go to Patreon. We have special episodes, early access, and extra content. To all our patrons helping support the show, thank you immensely. You're helping keep those hosting bills at bay, and we very much appreciate that. And to our listeners and the authors of these stories, thank you immensely, because without your listenership, it'd be like screaming into the void. And without your authorship, without these stories that you write and post online, we really wouldn't have much of a show because we'd have nothing to talk about. So thank you. Now's a good time to mention that we are part of a podcast network, Crit in the Night. an actual play and Creepypasta podcast network. We're there alongside our sister podcast, One Less Die, and our cousin podcast, The Role Playing Exchange, for things that go crit in the night. Until next time, I have been your host, Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey, these times real.
And I'm the gamer in yellow.
And this has been Al Dente Rigamortis. Sleep well.